Hangers when we used to watch shows, and they would,
cliffhangers.
you know, they would wait the next week. You're, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. only on 11Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film Hawks Dominique Wilkins, some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sports fan. So what do you think? Is Atlanta the best city in America? Connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram and tell us why this city's got it going on. And then watch us every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on the Morning Rush on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage.
He was sentenced to life in prison, and now he is out, and Tyler Perry is offering him a job beginning next week. Tonight, in Primetime, we speak to this local man about his turnaround, a life that now is going onward and upward.
And will a Georgia gamble pay off? A $1 billion casino offered as a solution to the state's money woes.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Well, here we are in January, and we are weather aware tonight. You never know this time of year in Atlanta and North Georgia, and our storm trackers have been watching a powerful system that now will bring us a chance for some severe storms beginning on Saturday.
Yeah, this is something we have been following for you all week. Tornadoes and damaging wind gusts are 2 of the main threats that we are dealing with. Georgia is under a level 1 and level 2 threat, with the best chance for severe weather in the western half of Georgia. Meteorologist Samantha Moore joining us now with a look at what we can expect. Sam?
Oh yeah, we're very concerned about those gusty winds that could bring a lot of trees down come Saturday evening, and that threat for tornadoes. Doesn't look like much right now. It still is developing and coming together, and it'll do so overnight tonight as we see an upper level low in the southwest catch up with this developing system across the plain states. So the bullseye tomorrow is on the Arklatex, where Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana all come together. They actually have level 4 out of 5 here in that area, in that red zone, and then extending out level 3, level 2, level 1, and this is heading in our direction. So that threat for tornadoes is there, as well as that threat for very gusty winds. So it won't be starting yet tomorrow. Tomorrow will actually be off and on showers, scattered in variety. We're not expecting any strong storms yet. Those come in late on our Saturday afternoon into the evening. So even the first half of Saturday will probably be okay. And then those storms, that line comes marching in during the afternoon and evening hours. And then on Sunday, we get a little break, but that will be a temporary break as we end up seeing that front pull up stationary and then head back in our direction. So we're expecting scattered showers tomorrow, that severe potential on your Saturday afternoon and evening, and we'll have more on how you can keep your family safe coming up on that. And then also after this is over, flooding rain, and this could be a serious flood event as we head into next week. So we'll have more details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
You can stay ahead of the storms by downloading the 11Alive News app. Sign up to receive free weather alerts that will go straight to your phone. The U.S. government announced it will collect DNA from migrants as young as 14 years of age.
Yeah, this is something we've been following for you. It is launching as a 90-day pilot program. Our Elwin Lopez spoke to an immigration attorney about the plan tonight.
Yeah, guys, this program authorizes border agents to collect DNA samples from migrants from ages 14 to 79 at two separate locations, the Detroit sector and the Eagle Pass port of entry in Southwest Texas. Now, this includes people who are required to be detained or to go through additional proceedings. What happens after the DNA is collected? Well, it is submitted to the FBI's DNA index system. Immigration attorney Mary Lynn Tedesco tells me this will affect many seeking legal protection here in the United States.
Probably looking for human trafficking and, murder suspects. But the reality is that the large majority of people that are going to be caught up in this are going to be asylum seekers.
So that data would go into that massive criminal database and would be held there indefinitely. Now, I will have more on this coming up in the 9 o'clock hour.
Thank you. Topping our speed feed tonight, Atlanta police officers searching for wanted suspects came across a decomposing body in the woods. Our 11Alive Sky Tracker was over the scene on Whiting Street and Regina Drive in Northwest Atlanta. Police say it appears the body has been there for quite some time, but a cause of death is not clear. A man accused of child molestation is back in jail after allegedly reaching out to a minor and convincing them to intimidate a victim in a previous case. Clayton County deputies say Paul Lyle Jr. violated a protection order filed against him, and he was arrested yesterday on the corner of Creekwood and Doublegate Lane. A teenage girl from Atlanta killed when Florida State troopers say her mother sped away from them and crashed into trees. Troopers say they clocked the car going more than 100 miles per hour Tuesday on I-75 and tried to pull the driver over, but she kept going. The 15-year-old was killed in the crash. Her mother and sister were also hurt. Quite the sight this day on I-85, an armored truck burning on the side of the interstate. The Brinks truck stopped at the Pleasant Hill exit near Duluth. Gwinnett County Fire says there was no damage to the money inside that truck and that the fire was caused by a mechanical issue. Thankfully, that driver was not hurt.
As they say, that's money. Growing concerns tonight about the flu in Georgia, with reports of seemingly healthy people dying after becoming ill. Just yesterday, a 17-year-old and a 29-year-old both died in Paulding County. The coroner says both had flu-related symptoms. Latasha Givens following the story for us tonight.
We know that it kills thousands of people nationwide every year. Unfortunately, this week we've had 2 deaths at our hospital.
Lindsay Eberhardt Fuller, the coroner for Paulding County, says, like the people commenting online, she is also concerned about the seemingly high number of healthy people dying from the flu in the metro. Just yesterday, a 17-year-old boy and a 29-year-old man died at the same Paulding County hospital. In a Facebook post online, the coroner says both had flu-related symptoms, and one was confirmed to have the flu a few days before he died. State officials list him as Paul Poss, husband and father of 2. As of last week, the Georgia Department of Public Health reported 15 people have died this flu season in Georgia alone. New numbers are expected tomorrow. Eberhardt Fuller requested the GBI Crime Lab to perform autopsies on the Paulding County deaths.
But if you're a 17-year-old or you're a 29-year-old in this county, unless you have cancer or you have some sort of documented, long, prolonged illness, you're going to get an autopsy, because I don't guess, I want to know.
Well, we have received a statement from Wellstar Health System, reading in part, Wellstar Paulding Hospital, along with most of the country, experiencing a higher volume of patients with influenza-like illness. Out of respect for our patients and their families, we cannot share specific details about individual cases. However, we can share that many of the details provided by other sources on recent flu cases are inaccurate and they are unfounded. According to CDC data, the 2 most common flu strains this year are B. Victoria and a H1N1. B. Victoria is hitting people under the age of 25 the hardest. The CDC says it still is too early to know the overall effectiveness of this season's vaccine, but it does not appear to be a good match for that particular strain. A 2016 study by the American Academy of Pediatrics found children with type B flu were more likely to end up in the ICU or die compared to kids with type A. But the CDC says this year's vaccine is a good match for at least 2 of the other strains out there, including the type A H1N1 strain, which is hitting people older than 25 the very hardest. Even though you may hear a number of people say that they have gotten the flu after getting a vaccine, the CDC says it still is your best line of defense. You're about half as likely to get the flu as someone who is not vaccinated. So if you do get the flu, your symptoms will be likely less severe.
He spent years patrolling Metro Atlanta and died trying to protect a coworker after he retired. Tonight, friends are remembering Felix Cosme. Police say he was killed while trying to stop a robbery at an auto parts store. The gunman has not yet been caught. Joe Hinkie spoke with a deputy who worked with Cosme before he retired from the sheriff's office and took that job at O'Reilly's.
Outside a closed O'Reilly auto parts store near Beaufort in Gwinnett County today sits a bouquet of flowers and a cross, a memorial for retired Sheriff's Deputy Felix Cosme.
Everyone loves Sergeant Cosme. He always had a smile for everyone. He had a great, casual, laid-back demeanor, and he was very, very respected and very loved by everyone who knew him at the Sheriff's Office.
Gwinnett County Sheriff's Deputy Shannon Volkadov worked with Cosme for several years. She says Cosme joined the Gwinnett Sheriff's Office in 2006 and worked in jail administration until his retirement in 2015. More recently, he worked at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where on Wednesday night, Volkadov says Cosme did not hesitate to serve his community once again.
When a violent criminal entered the store, he did exactly what he was trained to do, and his actions reflect well on his law enforcement career. He was attempting to preserve the lives of himself as well as the female employee who was also in the store at the time.
Investigators with the Gwinnett County Police Department say shortly before 7:45 on Wednesday night, a man followed Cosme's female co-worker into the store. The man asked the woman to open the register and demanded cash. Cosme walked out of the back of the store. Gwinnett County Police say spotted the robbery in action, and when Cosme attempted to pull out his gun, the man shot and killed him. The man then got in a car and drove off, heading towards I-85. Today, inside the sheriff's office, hearts are heavy as they wait for police to make an arrest.
He was a hero. He acted heroically, and unfortunately, he paid with his life.
Gwinnett County Police have not yet released any specific details about the suspect or the vehicle he drove away in. Police also haven't said if the robbery is or isn't connected to the other crimes in the area of that Beaufort Auto Parts store. Anyone with information is asked to please contact the Gwinnett County Police Department.
The city of Dunwoody is the latest government entity to be hit by a cyber attack. City officials say they're working with the FBI to investigate the ransomware attack that hit on Christmas Eve. The city says it has a contract with a tech firm which responded to the hack immediately. Because of that quick action, the city says it was able to isolate the problem before any of the data was compromised or damage was done, and they did not have to pay any money.
And I think the real key is responding quickly to these situations. And we're fortunate because an employee noticed something, was able to bring it to IT's attention. IT acted swiftly, even though it was a holiday, Christmas Eve. They actually came up here, and then they worked pretty much 24/7 for the next week, trying to get our systems back up and running and restored.
We're told the Dunwoody Police Department also had a backup plan in place, so that hack did not impact operations over the Christmas and New Year's break. This case ended much differently than some other recent attacks when government entities had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to get their systems back online. In 2018, an attack crippled the city of Atlanta. It ended up costing more than $7.2 million. Last year, Jackson County, Henry County, Griffin, Lawrenceville Police, the Georgia Administrative Offices of Courts, and the Department of Public Safety all were hit by cyber attacks. Cyber experts say government entities and agencies have become more popular targets because they often lack the funding for a bigger IT budget.
We are following some breaking news right now in Spalding County, where traffic on I-75 is at a standstill due to a crash. The sheriff's office says the crash involved a semi and a Henry County law enforcement officers. This is out at mile marker 207 near State Route 16. Deputies say that there were injuries reported, but the officer is doing okay. Drivers should look for an alternate route. If you know anyone who's going to be out and about this evening, you can, of course, download the 11Alive News app to get updates on this story. Sudacon Casino gambling has been a tough sell in Georgia over the years, but that doesn't mean people stop pitching it. We have a look at what's different this time around. And as always, we are streaming right now live on our 11Alive YouTube channel. You can subscribe and join the conversation. You can do that right now on our YouTube page. There's more 11Alive News in Primetime coming up.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Jess.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning. I'm learning the taste of water because I'm sugary.
Yeah.
Right.
About that.
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not going to be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Blog, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Blog on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
The idea of legalizing gambling in Georgia is something people can't stop talking about on our 11Alive Facebook page. Every time we post about it, there's mixed reaction. The issue seemed to get a boost, though, today at a big public hearing out at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but it has been a hard sell at the state capitol the last 3 years.
And the question now is whether that trend will continue in the legislative session that begins on Monday. It is a subject really that has been bantered around for a number of years, but it has garnered a lot of momentum here as we begin 2020, and that will make it a subject that's really worth following in the state legislature. Here's Doug Richards with more.
When Georgia lawmakers adjourned in a paper-tossing celebration last April, the state still seemed to have plenty of money. Since then, the state treasury has started running short, possibly giving new life to the promised riches of state-sanctioned gambling.
And hopefully we'll see some movement this year. I think there's more talk about it this year with this session coming up than any time in our history.
Ed Clark runs the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This year, the racetrack has floated a casino resort on its site in Hampton, plus an amusement park and a water park.
Well, the Atlanta Motor Speedway is already successful. This would open up a whole new avenue for us and really make us relevant 52 weeks a year.
So this will be going on in our backyard, and we are excited about it. We are wanting this to come.
There were more than 200 people in a room at the Speedway when a legislative committee asked for opinions about gambling. None rose to speak seriously against it.
I understand the bad things that come with addiction. My wife wants to move to Biloxi, and if we did, we'd be broke.
We're going to vote for this. You put it on the ballot, we're going to be gambling next year.
But it's not that easy. Gambling bills require an amendment to the state constitution. With 2/3 vote of approval in the House, another 2/3 vote in the Senate. Then voters statewide would have to decide. And then approval by voters in whatever communities would host a casino.
I also go to the casinos, and I would rather have my money sitting here in Henry County.
And backers say keeping gambling money in state is the best reason to support it.
There's no taxes collected in the state of Georgia off of these app-based sports betting, where there's nothing collected where the money is going to other states. That's tax revenue could be spent in this state.
Now, Georgia lawmakers may be getting a little bit weary from the gambling issue coming up and then staying unresolved. Today, House Speaker David Ralston said that he would like to see lawmakers pass it, which would then let voters make the final decision one way or the other. And, you know, former Governor Deal also was sort of lilting that way as well, where he said he wanted to leave it up to voters to decide themselves.
Yeah, a lot of people have some strong opinions about this one. And that's where we turn to our 11Alive Facebook page. Marilyn says she believes gambling in the state will just bring more crime, while Chris says he votes yes. He wants the tax money to go to education. And many, like David, say they want gambling revenue to stay here in Georgia rather than people from our state traveling elsewhere for all of that.
So in November, our exclusive 11Alive poll found nearly 60% of likely voters support legalized casino gambling. And that doesn't mean it's an easy pass. It's more complicated than that. With gambling bills have shuffled through the legislature for a couple of years unsuccessfully. Last March, a bill that would have brought casinos to cities like Atlanta and Savannah did not make it through the House. But what about this time? We will find out in the weeks ahead.
For your 11Alive storm trackers, watching the clouds on the increase this evening as we're seeing the leading edge of that cloud deck that's moving on in. So it made for some beautiful sunset shots and moon shots this evening. The winds will be picking up as we head into the next 48 hours. In fact, we're very concerned about the gusty winds we could see as the storms move through over the weekend. So let's talk more about the timing of that. Now, temperatures today mild ahead of this system, and they will be going up as we head towards Saturday too. So 64 was our high after morning low of 37, and we should be around 52 and 34 this time of year. So we were 12 degrees above for our high temperature today. We're going to be in close to 70 degrees on Saturday. We're going to be in the low 70s across much of North Georgia as we see the southerly winds pick up. So we are mild for sure. 56 in Athens, 59 in Atlanta, 58 in Marietta here in the beginning of January. And we're looking at those clouds thickening up as we look at the satellite and a developing system out here that is still to take shape. It's taking shape over Texas tonight, and then we have kind of the back end of the system still in the southwest is going to be moving to the east as well. So all of this is going to be taking shape as we head into the next 12 to 24 hours. We're going to watch it materialize. So cloudy tonight, temperatures in the 50s all night long, and we'll be watching for that threat of severe coming closer to us as we get into the weekend. So for our Friday, we have this chance for severe that's really bullseyed here on the ARCLA text, where they have a 4 out of 5 chance of seeing severe storms, and the threat for tornadoes for them is great. This whole system moves in our direction as we head into our Saturday, and that's when we have the best chance of seeing severe storms. In fact, we want you and your family to be prepared. So we're going to put a QR code right here at the bottom of the screen, and all you have to do is aim your phone here at the screen itself, and it will direct you to download the 11Alive app, and that will help keep you and your family safe. If there is an outbreak, maybe you lose power, you need to go to a safe place, and you can watch our coverage right here on 11Alive as the storms unfold. So just good to know that you have that at your disposal here. So the main threat we think is going to be those gusty, damaging winds as we head into our Saturday afternoon and evening. We can't rule out the threat of tornadoes, though. We could see some of them as well. Right now we are in the level 2, 1 and 2 across North Georgia, and that's what this SPC is really kind of trying to get everybody ready ahead of time. They put this out first last Sunday, so we've had a good advance notice that we could be looking at a real severe weather event unfolding over the course of the weekend. So just a few showers on Friday. Friday's not going to be a big deal. Just grab your umbrella before you head out the door. You may not even end up seeing any showers. We have a 40% chance. They become a little more widespread overnight into Saturday. So Saturday it looks like we'll start out pretty wet, off and on rain throughout the day. But when we really want you to be paying attention to the weather is when we get into the late afternoon and evening. Of course, we have the 49ers Vikings game on that afternoon at 4:30. So we're going to be keeping you abreast of the situation and let you know any warnings will appear in a crawl on the bottom of your screen. So important to just be aware of what happens on Saturday afternoon and evening as this line moves in. This is 6:30. The timing could still be off a little bit on this, so just kind of bear in mind late afternoon through the evening, you could be dealing with a severe weather outbreak here. Then as we get into Sunday, that pulls up stationary, that frontal system, and then comes back at us at the beginning of next week. So we could be talking some very heavy rain amounts through next Wednesday or early Thursday. We could be easily talking 2.5 to 4 inches of rain once we get into next week. So flooding is a concern as well. So 40% chance of showers as we head into tomorrow. And then on our Saturday, we have that 90% chance of showers and storms with a severe threat in the evening hours. And then Sunday, we back it off for a little bit. The front pulls up stationary, comes back at us Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for even more rain at the beginning of next week.
All right, Samantha, thank you. Next, the latest on the royal drama, and it is a real drama. This is a surprising story that I think has caught a lot of people off guard who follows life in the United Kingdom, and certainly the royals. Meghan and Harry have reportedly upset the Queen with their decision to make their way toward North America.
And more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning.
I'm learning the taste of water because I'm sugary.
Yeah.
Right.
About that?
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. A little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. Even more beautiful skin, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not going to be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Blog, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Blog on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
Atlanta is filled with great photo spots. And of course, I would know because this is my hometown. I'm 11Alive's Francesca Amaker, and I'm about to show you my picks for the 3 best Instagram spots in Atlanta. The OUTKAST mural is one of Atlanta's newest hotspots. Created by the artist Jex, people flock from all over the world just to get a shot of these 2 hip-hop legends. News of the mural went viral when Big Boy himself gave a shout-out on Instagram. You can find it tucked away in a back parking lot in Little 5 Points. An Atlanta icon, ever-changing, always interesting. The Krog Street Tunnel is full of artwork from some pretty eclectic Atlanta artists.
Yeah, all we feel is good vibe with it. It's a good time. We don't worry about the hate. We just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hints. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike.
It is the Instagram post that really surprised a lot of people in the world who follow pop culture, follow the royals, and certainly that energy that goes between our culture in the United Kingdom here in the United States as well. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle say that they are taking a step back away from the House of Windsor, the British royal family.
Yeah, the reaction to this one has taken over social media and the tabloids. NBC's Keir Simmons reports from Windsor what the latest information is on the royal family and how they're reacting to this surprising news.
A rift in the royal family not seen for a generation. Prince Harry, the most popular royal after the Queen, and his American wife Meghan, issuing what amounts to a declaration of independence. Their bombshell announcement taking other royals by surprise, saying they plan to split their time between the UK and North America. We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family, their statement says, and work to become financially independent while continuing to fully support Her Majesty the Queen. There was no advance warning for the Queen, Prince Charles or Prince William, Buckingham Palace issuing a terse response. Discussions with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are at an early stage. We understand their desire to take a different approach, but these are complicated issues.
They really are the global royal couple. Them stepping back as senior royals is such big news because it is the end of Harry and Meghan as a central part, a core part of the royal family.
On a slick new website this morning, Harry and Meghan setting out how they think the arrangement will work, even calling out tabloid newspapers they will no longer work with. Prince Harry's fury with the media, which he blames for the death of his mom, Princess Diana, another big factor. But how the break will work is still unclear. Will the couple keep their royal titles, even if they live overseas? Would Harry still be in line for the throne?
So, to get an idea of just how strong the reaction to this has been, you can take a look at this photo. This is Madame Tussauds famous museum of wax figures. After this news came out, Prince Harry and Meghan's figures were removed from next to the Queen and the rest of the royal family to another part of the exhibit. It's not easy being someone famous. It's not easy being a royal in the House of Windsor.
I know, that's kind of shady there. This news about the royal couple and they're possibly spending more time here, coming to America. People on our Facebook page have a lot to say about it. Jenny says, welcome. The overwhelming scrutiny placed on their lives has been unbearable, and she doesn't blame them for wanting separation, while others, though, find it a little hard to believe that they would be able to adjust to life without that royal status.
So if you have some thoughts on this, you can go ahead, join the conversation over on 11Alive's YouTube page. Everybody has a few thoughts of this, and it's a fun subject to talk about. Maybe not fun for the royal couple there, but we all enjoy talking about it and trying to figure out all the ramifications of it and what it means.
Certainly more to come on this one.
Yeah. Georgia's film tax credit is under fire from two separate reports that say it might not rake in as much cash as the state claims. Still, one lawmaker says it's not going away anytime soon.
America, connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram and tell us why this city's got it going on. And then watch us every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on The Morning Rush on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Mom, where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen? Have you seen it?
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
I woke up at 2 in the morning to be here. Where were you?
Once you allow it, right, then it sets you up for the entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food, and of course you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers, I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie!
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm gonna be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
The 11Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alert.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. So I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't faded. You could assume what you're doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept.
Earlier tonight, the House passed a measure limiting President Trump's power to take military action against Iran.
And members of both parties are venting frustration about the administration's refusal to say why they took out the top Iranian general.
NBC's Alice Barr has the latest now from Washington.
The current resolution is adopted.
Tonight, a strong signal to President Trump as the House passes a largely symbolic resolution demanding he seek congressional approval before taking any further military action in Iran.
Today, America and our allies are less safe.
The final votes falling mostly down party lines, Democrats distrusting and dissatisfied with the Trump administration's strategy.
The administration conducted a provocative, disproportionate airstrike against Iran, which endangered Americans, and did so without consulting Congress.
President Trump signaling he wants to de-escalate with Iran, while at the same time insisting he doesn't need congressional approval to act militarily. militarily, despite the decades-old War Powers Act.
I don't have to, and you shouldn't have to be able, because you have to make split-second decisions sometimes.
But both Democrats and some Republicans were frustrated by a White House briefing yesterday, saying the administration didn't give a clear reason for killing Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani.
The president still has not given us a single compelling justification for why he did it.
It should be clear to any reasonable person that Soleimani posed a long-term threat.
Iran retaliated with missile strikes against U.S. forces in Iraq. No one was hurt. Hours after that attack, a Ukrainian jetliner crashed shortly after taking off from Tehran, killing all 176 people on board. While Iran blamed mechanical failure, U.S. officials tell NBC News evidence from an American spy satellite suggests Iranian missiles shot down that plane, which may have been mistaken for a threat.
It's an example of what can happen during the fog of war.
A tragic turn in the standoff with Iran, while lawmakers face off once again over the president's actions. The War Powers Resolution is non-binding, meaning it won't go to President Trump to be signed into law. Speaker Pelosi saying she didn't want him to diminish the statement from Congress with a veto.
With international tensions so high, updates on Iran and jokes about the draft, though they're not really funny, are all over social media. And there is a generation of kids, young people that are online. They see this all the time and they wonder, you know, what does this mean for me? Should I be frightened by it? Very hard for them to decipher what is real and what is not. Now, one of our 11Alive viewers commented on Facebook that my niece's 10-year-old stepson was freaking out about World War III the other day, and I tried to calm him down. The news has to report on these things, but they must realize that kids see it too. So you have to talk to your children about it. And you know, this is not like when the first Gulf War broke out. There was no internet, there's no social media. It's a much different deal here in 2020. Leanna Lee with our sister station in Dallas set out to answer some of the questions about children and the news.
With tensions high between Iran and the United States, fear and anxiety are perfectly normal.
We're all feeling scared today.
But clinical psychologist Dr. Marta Otero says for kids and teens, it can be a whole lot worse.
I think that can elicit some level of anxiety.
A generation ago, you had to sit in front of the TV to see images like these.
Now that's not the case.
Now kids have access to violent video, inflammatory commentary, and questionable information in the palms of their hands.
A lot of the news that they're getting isn't verified news that is adequate and correct.
Now, even if your kids have never shown an interest in news or politics, there's talk about all of this on social media. Memes about World War III and a potential military draft have become so widespread. The Selective Service and U.S. Army recruiting have also taken to social media, warning young people about misinformation.
So it's up to us to help them know what goes into something so catastrophic.
For most kids, the war in Vietnam exists only in history books. And every year that passes, there are fewer and fewer World War II veterans left to tell their stories.
The old saying is learn from your history.
Dr. Otero says while it might not be easy to talk to your kids about war, violence, and death, cell phones and social media make it almost impossible for us to shield them from it.
If they say, I heard this at school, I saw this on social media, then talk to them about it and provide them with age-appropriate answers.
Your 11Alive storm trackers are tracking the possibility that we could see severe weather over the course of the weekend. So tomorrow is really going to be focused here on Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas, and then out from there, extending out from there to the Mississippi line. And then this moves to the east for us as we get into the weekend. So that's going to really cause us to be focused on the fact that during the afternoon and evening, we could end up seeing severe weather form along that strengthening system. Damaging wind gusts will be the main threat here. Tornadoes can't be ruled out, as well as some heavy rain that could cause some flash flooding. And this will be the severe weather event over the weekend, and then we could see more rain next week that could be flooding rain. So here's what's shaping up right now across the nation's midsection. This is going to continue to strengthen and develop overnight tonight. So we're going to have concerns here as we head into the weekend. Now tomorrow, grab your umbrella. I think it'll just be off and on showers throughout the day, a 40% chance. But it's Saturday when conditions go downhill during the late afternoon and evening, and that's when we could see severe weather. So coming up, we'll time it out hour by hour and let you know when you can expect the greatest impacts.
All right, Samantha, thank you. The 2020 presidential race makes another trip through Georgia, and that tops our speed feed on this Thursday night. Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg set to campaign in Atlanta tomorrow. The billionaire, former mayor of New York City, will be at the Westside Cultural Arts Center meeting with voters. Mr. Bloomberg will also speak at a voting rights summit hosted by the Fair Fight PAC, which is founded by Stacey Abrams. The invite-only event is also happening tomorrow. The all-clear given to students at Georgia Tech. Hopkins Residence Hall was evacuated earlier this afternoon over what was initially believed to be a gas leak. The school now says the smell of gas, those fumes, were from a generator on the roof. If you woke up without power in Gwinnett County, you can blame a car crash. Georgia Power says about 700 people were in the dark in Lawrenceville. Off the Lawrenceville Highway and Oakland Road, everything restored within about 2 hours. Didn't last too long.
Georgia's film tax credit has been heralded as drawing billions in business to the state. And even though reports are questioning the state's numbers and how the incentives are applied, Georgia's House Speaker says the credit is here to stay. That tax credit has been criticized in two separate state-backed reports. One state audit found filmmakers were getting tax breaks for ineligible expenses. And a Kennesaw State report found the tax break doesn't generate as much of an impact as the state claims. While no one is suggesting repealing the incentives entirely, some lawmakers want them to be reviewed. House Speaker David Ralston says he is open to talks as long as everyone understands one thing.
If we need to make some changes, I'm happy to have some discussion about that, but I think it's important that we know that we come into this process being very clear that we're going to continue that.
Lawmakers in the past have strongly defended the tax credit, but some now say with the state facing a budget shortfall this year, it could be time to reevaluate things. Coming up to next on Primetime, signs of change and growth on the Kennesaw State University campus. We're going to tell you about it.
More stories to uncover, more videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, moving ain't faded. You could assume it.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Chess.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning. I'm learning the taste of water, because I'm sugary.
Okay,
Right.
About that.
Reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
Right, yeah, a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not gonna be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Blog, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Blog on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
Atlanta is filled.
Kennesaw State University continues to grow, and some necessary changes are taking place as a result.
And some that you see, some that you won't. 11Alive's Jay Plyburn explains.
It's a big week for Kennesaw State University. The school just received a significant donation and got some new signs for the campus.
It was really about a year and a half ago when Dr. Witten, Pam Witten, who's our president, came to start her new position here as the 5th president of KSU and asked the question, where's the front door? Where do people feel like they're entering campus? Everyone knew where the campus was. They knew the institution was there, but the determination was made at that time, we really need something that's going to let everyone know, here you are coming up to the 3rd largest university in the state. So we have that great location with the signage at that corner and then a new entrance that comes on what is Kennesaw State Road, and it will really give an opportunity for students, visitors, parents to know that they've just arrived at what is becoming a destination institution.
He says the new signs were paid for using institutional funds. And speaking of funding, the university just received a $10 million donation, the largest gift in the school's history.
We've been fortunate to have Rosemary Brown, who is the donor with her husband John Brown, has been associated with the Honors College for a while. She served on the advisory council. They've been able to come to campus, see the engagement that's gone on with the Honors College, and those conversations started last year. Through that time, they were able to really get a sense of how this tremendous gift would be able to impact students. All the money's going to go to scholarships for the Honors College students, and we've really been fortunate to know that their ideas are aligning with ours, which is student success is preeminent and paramount, and students are front and center. The Browns were actually able to join the president for our little holiday party, and they literally looked at Dr. Witten and said, we feel like we are in absolutely the right place, and this gift is going to be just transformational.
According to university officials, that donation will go towards scholarships for honors college students.
If you want to learn more about this story, you can head over to myeastcobbnews.com.
Oh, we are watching the clouds on the increase tonight. It was a beautiful day, lots of sunshine, made it all the way up into the 60s here in January, so it was a gorgeous afternoon. But now those clouds are starting to roll in and thicken up just a bit. In Blue Ridge, though, it's pleasant. It's a nice evening, and I think much of tomorrow will be almost as pleasant as today. It'll be off and on showers. You'll have to have your umbrella, but no storms we don't think until Saturday. So let's talk more about the timing of that. You can see here on the satellite picture, we're seeing those clouds thicken up right now. They're continuing to lower as we head into the overnight hours, being overcast by tomorrow morning. And we're seeing a system start to take shape. It's really going to be the next 12 to 18 hours we really start to see it organizing here across the Mississippi River Valley, and then it will be moving in our direction and giving us that threat for potential severe over the weekend. So as far as today, though, boy, we viewed it beautifully with all that sunshine, temperatures getting up to 64 degrees. That was 12 degrees above average for this time of year, and still feeling really nice out there with temps in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees, 59 right now in Atlanta. So a very nice end to our day. So overnight tonight, the clouds will hang around. That'll keep us insulated a bit. So temps will be in the 50s as you head out the door tomorrow. Then you can expect scattered showers off and on tomorrow. We'll have a severe potential Saturday afternoon and evening. And then after that, on Sunday, that storm system pulls up stationary in South Georgia, comes right back at us, and we see a southwest flow across that front. That could bring in flooding rain Monday, Tuesday, maybe even to Wednesday next week. So here's that threat for severe tomorrow. It's going to be in the Arklatex here, East Texas, Louisiana. Louisiana and southern Arkansas. That's where the bullseye is. That's a level 4 out of 5. It's going to be a pretty rough day for the folks there tomorrow. And then the storm system moves in over the weekend for us and gives us that chance for severe storms here. Right now we have that enhanced chance in Alabama, and here we have a slight chance, which means more widespread than if we had a level 1. Level 1 is more isolated in East Georgia, but level 2 means we could see some gusty wind damage as well as possible tornadoes and some flooding rain. So we want you to be prepared. So we're going to put a QR code down here on the screen. You can just shine your camera at it, focus your camera on it, shine on your phone, and it'll take you to a place you can download the 11Alive app. You can set the settings, notifications, go to weather and set those up so you can easily get the warnings. If you do need to seek shelter and you lose power, it'll be a nice way to stay informed as to what's happening around you outside. So we have the easterly winds there right now, outside right now, and that's bringing in the clouds. Tomorrow we'll see the off and on showers throughout the day. No big deal tomorrow. An umbrella should handle it. The winds start to pick up as we head through Saturday. The rain becomes more widespread during the day, off and on, and in comes that line. Now this is around 5 o'clock when it's entering West Georgia. This timing could still be off. It could come in a little faster. It could come in a little slower, but just keep in mind late afternoon, early evening, just kind of stay on top of the weather situation, and the 11Alive app is a great way to do that. That line advances in throughout the evening hours, could bring in some flooding rain, gusty damaging winds. We expect to see some very strong winds, and that could bring a lot of trees down and cause widespread power outages. So that's going to be a major concern for us. And then next week, as the front pulls up stationary, it's going to be all about the rain. We're going to see heavy rain continue into the middle of next week, and that could bring in that potential for flooding Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that'll be another concern after the severe wave moves through over the weekend. So 40% chance of scattered showers tomorrow. Saturday, rain increases throughout the day. Best chance of storms afternoon and evening. 20% chance on Sunday. We kind of get a break, but then the front comes right back at us with that southwest flow over. It brings in a lot more rain for our Monday, our Tuesday, even into Wednesday.
You've probably seen them around on street corner sign spinners looking to make some extra bucks advertising for businesses. But this is more than just a job for some. It's a serious competition.
Maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. So y'all just do what I say I'ma do. No, no, moving ain't faded. You could assume what the doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you?
All right.
Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning. I'm learning the taste of water, because I'm sugary.
Yeah,
right.
About that.
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
right, yeah,
Okay.
a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not gonna be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Blog, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Blog on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
We're about 200 days away from the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Some of the best athletes in the world will, of course, compete for gold. It's such a great, cool, fun event.
Yeah, but there's a lesser-known world competition coming up right around the corner for sign spinning.
I like it.
Chrissy Etheridge taking you behind the headline.
It's not just an advertisement anymore.
If you're not having fun, why are you doing it?
Welcome to the world of sign spinning.
I tell my spinners, the corner is your stage. You own it. So put on a show.
A lot of us actually get out there and do cartwheels or handstands. Some people even do like backflips out there on the corner.
This is my signature move.
For Rami Putras, it started as a high school job out in San Diego, standing on the corner for $10 an hour.
It was so boring to just stand there with the sign, so we, had to do tricks with it and had to figure out, what can we do to keep ourselves entertained on the corner and not die from boredom.
Eventually, a couple offhand tricks turned into a real sport with a real sign spinning world championship every year.
The way that we were sweating and bleeding and crying after it, we would do push-ups and sit-ups to get in shape for it.
And it started to attract a community.
We were like skaters or surfers and had that extreme sport mentality. Everybody's an outcast. We're all different in our own right.
In 2010, he opened a franchise here in Atlanta. One of his top spinners, Sam Youngblood, a recent graduate from Georgia Tech with a biomedical engineering degree.
Pretty much for me, this has kind of been my job on the side throughout college.
He and sign spinning instructor Theodore Davis have both placed top 10 at the World Championships. But when they're not competing, it's still a side job on the side of the road. And when they're lucky, Atlanta drivers will even give them a wave back.
The World Sign Spinning Championship is next Friday and Saturday out in Las Vegas. What a trip.
Yeah, how about having your son or daughter coming to you and say, Dad, Mom, I want to be a sign spinner. That's what I'm going to spend the rest of my life. It would be interesting to hear. Certainly, if that's what they want to do, so be it. Anyway, I'm being a good father here, and I'm now moving on. They aired last year's show on ESPN, but this year they're going to be streaming it live on the Aero Sign Spinning Facebook page. They tell us that people will be coming from as far away as South Korea and Australia to compete.
That is quite the crowd. Ahead for you tonight on Primetime, the IOC taking up the issue of possible political protest at the upcoming Summer Olympics in Tokyo. What athletes can and cannot do after the break.
Up late.
What's the best part about
Your voice, it is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hey,
and they
cliffhangers.
would, they would wait the next week. You were, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film Hawks' Dominique Wilkins, some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sports fan. So what do you think? Is Atlanta the best city in America? Connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram and tell us why this city's got it going on. And then watch us every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on The Morning Rush on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen?
It is one of the most famous moments in Olympic history. American sprinters Tommy Smith, John Carlos raising their fists in protest. Mexico City, 1968. If you're old enough to remember these pictures, you remember the impact on the country, and you remember what 1968 was like in the United States. And I was a youngster, and I remember it very vividly as well. It was a very scary time as a young boy. Today, the International Olympic Committee published new guidelines specifying which types of protests are and are not allowed at the Summer Games in Tokyo.
Yeah, those not allowed include anthem kneeling and fists in the air. It's Olympic Charter Rule 50. So let's break it down for you. Protests and demonstrations are not allowed on the field of play, in the Olympic Village, during medal ceremonies, and during the opening or closing and other official ceremonies. According to the IOC, examples of what would constitute a protest include displaying any political message, gestures of a political nature, and refusal to follow the ceremony's protocols. So these rules might seem pretty strict, but according to the new charter rule, there are ways that athletes can express their views, like during press conferences and interviews, at team meetings, and on digital and social platforms. Athletes who break the rules face 3 rounds of punishment by the IOC, a sports governing body, and a national Olympic body. The new guidelines come after 2 American athletes were reprimanded for medal podium protests last August at the Pan American Games in Peru. Both were put on probation for 12 months, which covers the Olympic Games in Tokyo.
Tommy Smith has lived in Stone Mountain for a lot of years. He's not from here, but he's lived here. Smith and Carlos. If you're interested in the subject, I know we still are forever and ever. Sports Illustrated had a great feature a number of years ago, how both men had very difficult times in the United States trying to find employment after those games in '68. They couldn't get anything done. Nobody would touch them.
And I remember that was really difficult. I was 10 years old at the time. I remember all of that. You were 10 years old as well. Now we're giving our age up, but that's okay. But it was an explosive time in American history, especially when it comes to civil rights, and that friction amongst, the racial entities as well. So yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, and this is what, about 3.5, 4 months in Mexico City after the killing of Dr. King. So
so it'll be interesting to see who adheres to the rules now that the guidelines have been put out so far in advance,
and
or
what
who
the
says
consequences will be if those individuals decide not to adhere to them.
Exactly. So that is one we will be watching closely, guys.
All right, as you know, it's almost 9 o'clock, and we have a lot coming up on 11Alive News Prime Time.
He was sentenced to life in prison and is now a free man thanks to a new Fulton County program. Now Tyler Perry is offering him a job.
All my prayers and stuff came true.
And a hero's death. We're learning a lot more about the former deputy who was killed while trying to stop a robbery at a Metro Auto Parts store.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
We are weather aware tonight. Our storm trackers have been watching a system that will bring us a chance for some severe storms on Saturday.
We're talking about possibly tornadoes and damaging wind gusts are 2 of the big threats out there. Georgia is now under a level 1 and level 2 threat, with the best chance for severe weather in the western half of the state. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb joins us now with an update. Chris?
Yeah, we're watching this system very closely as it moves our way. And, you notice those clouds that we're building in today? Those clouds don't have any rain with it. That's confirmed by what you see on radar. Now, you see my phone here. I'm on live with you on WATL, as well as having a personal weather briefing with folks on my Facebook page. If you want to join that as well, go to Chris Holcomb 11Alive. We have about just under 800 people on right now. We have a lot of folks saying hi from where they're located. Kayla LaFergie says hello. Cindy is saying hello in Covington. And then Aaron Glasgow says there's a beautiful halo around the moon tonight, and that often occurs when we see this first layers of clouds moving in. Ice crystals around the moon will bend or refract that light, making that halo around the moon. All right, let's get down to what we're watching. Take a look, and you can see that this rain is out to the west right now. And we showed you this at 5 and 6. Didn't look that impressive. It's starting to build up a little bit more with more moderate showers that are occurring in parts of Missouri down into Arkansas. But this is nothing compared to what's going to be happening tomorrow as this system moves on over to the east. Now, tonight, no real severe weather threat to the north. But then tomorrow, look what happens. As the system moves over toward the east, it will encounter some shear as well as some unstable air. And that's just going to make these storms explode, especially right here in the Arklatex region. That's where there is a moderate risk, a level 4 out of 5 risk. And the system, as it moves closer to us, as it pushes over to the east on Saturday, places us in the slight risk with that enhanced risk or level 3 risk over into Alabama and Mississippi, but still that level 2 risk coming into our area. The main threats are going to be damaging wind gusts. Tornadoes are possible. Again, not a guarantee, but tornadoes are possible. And also the potential with the rain, some flash flooding that could occur. Stay with us. I'm going to continue my discussion here on my Facebook page if you guys want to join me there. But in just a few minutes here on WATL, I'm going to break down that timeline for you and let you know when you're going to be most likely to see some of those stronger storms move our way on Saturday.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in a couple of minutes, sir. By the way, folks, you can stay on top of the storms by downloading the 11Alive News app. Sign up to receive some free weather alerts straight to your phone.
We're following breaking news tonight coming out of Spalding County, where traffic in the northbound lanes of I-75 is at a standstill right now. This is following a crash. The sheriff's office tells us the crash involved a semi and a Henry County law enforcement officer. You see people there at mile marker 207 at the interstate at State Route 16 are not moving at all. Deputies said there were some injuries reported, but the officer is okay. Drivers should find an alternate route. You see, they're going to be tied up for quite some time. You can download the 11Alive News app to get updates on this story.
Well, you know, the U.S. government announced that it will collect DNA from migrants as young as 14 years old.
It's launching a 90-day pilot program. Our Elwin Lopez spoke to immigration attorneys about this. Elwin.
Yeah, Ron, Aisha, so you might remember ICE last year had DNA testing at several places along the U.S.-Mexico border to determine whether people saying they were coming in with family were actually related or not. But now this pilot program extends to a wider group.
When it's just a blanket reason, you're just collecting all this data for people that probably aren't going to even end up here, most of them. What's the point?
The 90-day pilot program lets border agents collect DNA samples from some migrants at 2 locations, the Detroit sector in Michigan and Eagle Pass in Southwest Texas. DNA from migrants ages 14 to 79 at the Detroit location. The DNA will go then to the FBI's combined DNA index system, which allows DNA comparison to find criminals.
Probably looking for human trafficking and, murder suspects. But the reality is that the large majority of people that are going to be caught up in this are going to be asylum seekers.
Caught up, she says, while trying to seek legal protection here in the United States.
So they're now dragging civil individuals who are seeking protection legally in the United States, presenting themselves legally, and yet they're being treated like the criminals that we were supposed to be finding with DNA samples.
Now, that DNA data would go into that massive criminal database that the FBI has and would be held there indefinitely. Now, we don't know at this time whether unaccompanied minors 14 and older will be a part of this program. You can download the 11Alive News app to read more about this program. And in the As Seen on TV section, we have stories in both English and Spanish for you there, Aisha.
All right, thank you, Elwin. He was looking at a life sentence for having 2 grams of cocaine. After 21 years, he got out of prison, and the DA's office started looking into the harsh punishment. Now, after struggling to find work, he's got the job offer of a lifetime.
If you simply call that number
Mr. Perry says that you can start to work on Monday here at Tyler Perry.
So a few years ago, Darrell Hall says he would have never fathomed he'd be getting a chance like this.
That's right. So his life started to turn around after the Fulton County District Attorney formed a new convictions integrity unit to review cases where the sentence did not actually match the crime. Hall's case was one of them. And after he was freed, they connected him with Tyler Perry for a possible job.
Hall sat down exclusively with Caitlin Ross today to talk about his plans now.
When I talked to Darrell, he kept checking his phone. He says he can't break the habit after applying for so many jobs. People would tell him, I'll get back to you, I'll send you an email, but they never would. Even though he kept getting rejected, he told me he never gave up hope.
I'm gonna come prepared like I'm ready to work.
Darrell Hall plans to wear his work boots to his interview Monday. He wants to show them he's ready to work.
You want to say, can I start now? I can start.
He has no idea what job they're considering him for at Tyler Perry's studios yet, but he's ready for anything.
Anything. I gotta have a lot of skills.
He took a number of classes in prison and even worked as a chef. He did the best he could with that one.
In prison? I ain't never seen a good meal in prison.
He did learn how to make a sweet potato pie from scratch in prison, though his family usually takes over cooking duties now that he's moved back in with them.
I always miss my family.
He says being away from his family was the hardest part of his 21 years in prison, and that he kept on the straight and narrow when he was locked up because he wanted to make them proud.
I always kept myself upright and I ain't try to fit in with nobody.
It was hard, but he says he kept a positive attitude through prayer.
Always keep your head up. Always look forward. Everybody's not out to get you. Don't ever think that everybody out to get you.
He says Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard is the best example.
It seems like there'll be people that are against you. Thank you, but they were for me.
The Criminal Convictions Integrity Unit looked into Hall's case and got him out of prison. DA Howard said he was ashamed of the life sentence a judge handed down to Hall in the 90s for possessing 2 grams of cocaine. But Darrell says he doesn't hold a grudge against anyone for his time away. He just wants to move forward and make a difference in the world.
It just ain't about lip service, it's about action.
His interview is at Tyler Perry Studios Monday morning, and he told me he'll let me know how it goes as soon as he gets out.
All right, that is awesome. By the way, Hall was sentenced during the 90s, which was at the height of the 3 strikes, you're in jail policy. So his story made us wonder how Georgia compares with other states when it comes to drug sentencing. This is what we learned. According to the American Addiction Centers, Georgia is among the top 11 states when it comes to handing down sentences for cocaine. On average, people get more than 8 years for jail time for those cocaine offenses. Compare that to a study from the Bureau of Justice in 2004, which shows the average sentence nationwide for drug possession was about 3 years.
It's also worth noting this isn't the first time we've reported on Tyler Perry's good deeds for fellow Georgians. Back in November, he helped bring a couple stranded in Mexico back to Atlanta. Stephen Johnson became seriously ill while on a cruise with his girlfriend. He recovered, but the hospital in Mexico wouldn't allow the couple to leave until they paid the $16,000 bill. Perry saw their plea for help on Facebook and not only paid their entire bill, but he also bought their plane tickets home.
Thank God for you.
And in 2018, Perry bought a new home for Betty Ann Pace, the mother of his friend, gospel singer LaShawn Pace. Betty Ann had been given a dire health prognosis. Her dying wish was to become a first-time homeowner, a dream Perry turned into reality. You can read more about Tyler Perry and his impact on the Atlanta community and all over the place right now on 11alive.com. Well, today, officials broke ground on the latest phase of a project that's bringing and keeping more police officers in Atlanta. The new apartment complex on English Avenue will eventually house more than 30 APD recruits. It joins almost 24 other homes in the area, built specifically for officers to help them become a bigger part of the community they protect. According to the Atlanta Police Foundation, the lack of affordable housing is one of the biggest obstacles to hiring those new officers. The group says 40% of recruits come from outside the metro area. So in 2017, the city launched an incentive program to attract more candidates. That included raising salaries, relocation funds, and other financial bonuses. Officials say those measures helped them hire more than 200 officers in 2019, 70 more than the previous year.
They're going to be a part of the community, and that is huge. The officers, after their 8 hours on the street, they're not going to go to other counties. They're going to stay right here.
The APD incentive program is part of a larger West Side revitalization project. It started with placing security cameras in the area and building the At Promise Youth Center, backed by the city, APD, and the Arthur Blank and Atlanta Police Foundations. Officials say the effort have helped really lower the crime in that area by 40%. That's impressive. They're planning similar programs in other parts of the city.
All right, straight ahead, protecting places of worship. You may see more patrol cars around churches and other religious institutions as law enforcement agencies work to make sure congregations are safe.
Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb is live on Facebook right now taking your weather questions. You can join the conversation right now on his Facebook page as we talk about severe weather headed our way. We're going to catch up with him after the break. Also, don't forget, we are streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. You can subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. We've got more 11Alive news and prime time after the break.
We don't worry about that hate, we just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hence. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
They're
And they're
a lot of fun.
convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're
The American Cancer Society issued a report saying the U.S. has recorded its biggest drop in cancer deaths ever recorded. The death rate has fallen by 30% since the early 90s. The news was met with cheers by all, including President Trump, who tweeted about all the good news coming out of his administration. That was followed by jeers from some, claiming the president tried cutting funds to the National Cancer Institute for this year's budget. We sent our Verify researchers, we sent them out on this one to find out if that's really true. Did President Trump try to cut funds to the National Cancer Institute in this year's budget? We went directly to the source to get this information, the good old U.S. government. We dug through the proposed budget for the Health and Human Services Department. That's what the National Cancer Institute is under. We found President Trump's proposed budget for the Cancer Institute included $897 million less than last year. We also saw increased funding for childhood cancer research by about $50 million a year. But as we know, the proposed budget is not necessarily what actually gets passed, right? They gotta talk about it a little bit. So the budget Congress recently passed and the president signed actually included more money for the National Cancer Institute to a tune of $100 million. So, did President Trump propose cutting the budget for the National Cancer Institute by $900 million this year, while letting his administration take at least partial credit for the huge drop in cancer rates? We verified and found that true. Do you have something you want us to verify? Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or email verify@11alive.com and we'll get an answer for you.
Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. We're continuing our conversation on Facebook Live, kind of a behind-the-scenes look and a personal weather briefing that now 400 plus people are getting here on Facebook Live. Emily Tucker's saying, we want to know about the hail risk too. The hail risk, it's on the low end. It is possible we could see some hail with this, but that's not the biggest threat. The bigger threat we're going to be dealing with is going to be damaging winds and also that potential for some tornadoes. Brian Stewart says thank you to Sam because Sam is going to show them them some behind-the-scenes stuff in just a second. Teresa Hubbard says, seems like a ton of rain lately. Yes, this system will give us some rain, and then into next week, we have more rain that's going to be moving through. All right, let's get down to it. Let me show you the radar picture right now. And you can see that there's no rain in our area, even though we have seen the clouds that have been building in. The rain is out to the west, and that's beginning to look a little more impressive. When I was showing you this at 5 and 6 o'clock tonight, it was just kind of just developing. Now it's starting to develop a little bit more. Even saw a lightning strike right there, and right there on the Tennessee and Kentucky line. But this is just going to intensify during the day tomorrow. I'm not worried about severe weather in that area to the west tonight. Tomorrow, though, as this rain moves in, we have the jet stream coming down, a cold front, instability. All that's going to mix together to give us a highest risk for severe storms right there in Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas. But really, a big chunk here over to the west of us has that threat for severe storms tomorrow. I'm not concerned about severe storms for us tomorrow. It's going to be on Saturday. So listen up. I want you to prepare for this storm. We're putting up a QR code on your TV right now. You see that right here? If you open up your phone camera and hold that up to that QR code, you will be able to download our app. And that way you can set the app for alert notifications and be alerted if any warnings are issued in your area. You can watch our severe weather coverage if you have to move away from your TV into your safe spot. So download that app to help get you through this storm system through the week. Now we have that chance for strong storms here, level 2 of 5 risk area from Atlanta over toward the west, and then over to the in Birmingham and Alabama, Mississippi, they're at a level 3 risk. So I think the chances are going to be higher where they are. So a 6 on the wazometer Friday, clouds move in. We're going to see the rain chances, just scattered stuff, but no storm risk. So let me walk you through the timeline. We have on Friday morning, clouds through the day, just a few scattered showers that'll move through. And then as we get into Saturday morning, some scattered showers, but no storms yet. Saturday afternoon, scattered showers, but no storms yet. Here's that line that's pushing in northwest Georgia and into West Georgia around 5 o'clock, pushing into the Atlanta area here around 8 o'clock in the evening. Again, these are rough timelines. I just want you to be prepared that it could change a little bit faster or even go a little bit slower, and then sweep over to the east of the city late evening, and the threat will be over Saturday night. And then the rain ends on Sunday before it comes back again on Monday. And again, those threats will be damaging winds, possible tornadoes with this, and those winds could really bring down some trees too, because we think they will be pretty fierce. There's that storm risk Saturday, 71 degrees for a high, plenty of warm air in place. Sunday, a break in the rain, and then the moisture comes back Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Still warm in the 60s, even around 70 degrees. And then we think we'll dry out on Thursday, and look how we cool off. We're back to the mid-50s here by the end of next week.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. You know, sheriff's offices all across our state are working to make sure places of worship are safe.
This comes after just weeks of violent attacks on a church and a Jewish rabbi's home in other parts of the country. Sheriff's offices in Lumpkin, Lawrence, Tift, and Baldwin counties all posted messages online sharing plans to allow their deputies to drive their patrol vehicles to churches or other religious institutions they attend. And in Griffin last weekend, a 2-day church safety and intruder awareness training session. The company Staratigos International led the session for faith leaders and members, touching on topics like intruder response, recognizing suspicious behavior, and even the role of ushers and greeters.
We're trying to give them the data and the information to take their minds where they might have to go, you know, to protect their congregation.
We're told the Henry County Sheriff's Office is planning to hold special safety training classes for area faith leaders. They hope those sessions will take place sometime in March.
So the latest push for safety comes after a gunman killed 2 people at a church in Texas before being shot and killed by a church security guard, an armed security guard. So back in November, here in Metro Atlanta, Gainesville police said that they stopped an attack against Bethel AME Church. A 16-year-old girl is accused of plotting all of this. Now, authorities reportedly told church leaders that she admired Dylan Roof, who killed 9 people at a church in Charleston, South Carolina.
We've reached out to other agencies around Metro Atlanta to see if they will be implementing changes to protecting places of worship. We'll post any updates on 11alive.com.
All right, straight ahead, Georgia lawmakers planning to roll the dice on legalizing casino gambling, where the debate stands heading into the new legislative session.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11 Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
Atlanta is filled with great photo spots, and of course I would know because this is my hometown. I'm 11Alive's Francesca Amaker, and I'm about to show you my picks for the 3 best Instagram spots in Atlanta. The OUTKAST mural is one of Atlanta's newest hotspots. Created by the artist Jex, people flock from all over the world just to get a shot of these 2 hip-hop legends. News of the mural went viral when Big Boy himself gave a shout out on Instagram. You can find it tucked away in a back parking lot in Little 5 Points. An Atlanta icon, ever-changing, always interesting. The Krog Street Tunnel is full of artwork from some pretty eclectic Atlanta artists.
Yeah, all we feel is good vibes. Vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate, we just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hints. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're convenient.
But they're being dumb.
The idea of legalizing gambling in Georgia is something people can't stop talking about on the 11Alive Facebook page. Every time we post about it, there is mixed reaction out there. The issue seemed to get a boost today in a big public hearing at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but it's been a hard sell at the Capitol for the last 3 years.
And the question now is whether that trend continues in the legislative session that starts on Monday. Doug Richards has more.
When Georgia lawmakers adjourned in a paper-tossing celebration last April, the state still seemed to have plenty of money. Since then, the state treasury has started running short, possibly giving new life to the promised riches of state-sanctioned gambling.
And hopefully we'll see some movement this year. I think there's more talk about it this year with this session coming up than any time in our history.
Ed Clark runs the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This year, the racetrack has floated a casino resort on its site in Hampton, plus an amusement park and a water park.
Well, the Atlanta Motor Speedway is already successful. This would open up a whole new avenue for us and really make us relevant 52 weeks a year.
So this will be going on in our backyard, and we are excited about it. We are wanting this to come.
There were more than 200 people in a room at the Speedway when a legislative committee asked for opinions about gambling. None rose to speak seriously against it.
I understand the bad things that come with addiction. My wife wants to move to Biloxi, and if we did, we'd be broke.
We're going to vote for this. You put it on the ballot, we're going to be gambling next year.
But it's not that easy. Gambling bills require an amendment to the state constitution. With 2/3 vote of approval in the House, another 2/3 vote in the Senate. Then voters statewide would have to decide. And then approval by voters in whatever communities would host a casino.
I also go to the casinos, and I would rather have my money sitting here in Henry County.
And backers say keeping gambling money in state is the best reason to support it.
There's no taxes collected in the state of Georgia off of these app-based sports betting, where there's nothing collected where the money is going to other states. That's tax revenue could be spent in this state.
That was Doug Richards reporting for us tonight. By the way, back in November, our exclusive 11Alive poll found nearly 60% of likely voters support legalizing casino gambling. But that does not mean it will easily pass. Gambling bills have shuffled through the legislature for a couple of years now. Last March, a bill that would have brought casinos to major cities like Atlanta and Savannah did not make it through the House.
Capitol Hill tensions. There's bipartisan frustration surrounding the Trump administration's refusal to prove why it took out a top Iranian general at the specific time. Live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen? Have you seen it?
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
I woke up at 2 in the morning to be here. Where were you?
Once you allow it, right, then it sets you up for the entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food, and of course you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers, I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie.
No.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm gonna be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
The 11Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alerts.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. So y'all just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't faded. You could assume it.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Chester.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. We have been doing our best throughout this entire week to keep you posted on what we're expecting here on Saturday. Today, we started seeing the clouds moving in. Those clouds, though, aren't giving us any rain. The rain is out to the west. You can see this area now beginning to kick up a couple of lightning strikes. We had one there really kind of ahead of this line along the Tennessee-Kentucky border, one right there in northern Mississippi. But you can see these storms starting to get their act together a little bit more with some pockets of moderate rain to heavy rain. As this moves over to the east, it is going to be accompanied by some instability and some shear, and that is going to enhance the severe weather risk for areas to our west tomorrow. Here's what we're watching. Take a look now at the bigger picture, and you can see here, tonight the severe weather risk pretty much non-existent. I'm not worried about it there to our west tonight. Just general showers and a few thunder showers that'll be developing there. It is tomorrow. as we see the shear and instability through a big part of the southeast here, again, to our west. I'm not worried about severe weather for us. That's going to be out over to the west of us tomorrow, where we have, look at that red area, reddish color, right there in northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and into eastern Texas is a moderate risk. That's level 4 of 5, and then the enhanced risk surrounds that level 3 of 5. Well, look what happens during the day on Saturday. That enhanced risk is in Mississippi, also into Alabama, and then the level 2 risk comes to us here in Atlanta as these storms continue to move over toward the east late afternoon and into the evening hours. We could see some damaging wind gusts. We really are expecting some strong winds with this that could bring down trees and knock out power in some areas. Tornadoes are also a possibility, and with some of the rain and some of those heavier bands, we could see some flash flooding occurring as well. Stay with us. We're getting new model data in. We're going to show you an updated timeline of when we think these storms will move through and when they'll move out.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot, sir. You know, earlier tonight, the House passed a measure limiting President Trump's power to take military action against Iran.
Members of both parties are venting frustration about the administration's refusal to prove why it took out a top Iranian general.
NBC's Alice Barr has the very latest from Washington.
The current resolution is adopted.
Tonight, a strong signal to President Trump as the House passes a largely symbolic resolution demanding he seek congressional approval before taking any further military action in Iran.
Today, America and our allies are less safe.
The final votes falling mostly down party lines. Democrats distrusting and dissatisfied with the Trump administration's strategy.
The administration conducted a provocative, disproportionate airstrike against Iran, which endangered Americans, and did so without consulting Congress.
President Trump signaling he wants to de-escalate with Iran, while at the same time insisting he doesn't need congressional approval to act militarily, despite the decades-old War Powers Act.
I don't have to, and you shouldn't have to be able, because you have to make split-second decisions sometimes.
But both Democrats and some Republicans were frustrated by a White House briefing yesterday, saying the administration didn't give a clear reason for killing Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani.
The president still has not given us a single compelling justification for why he did it.
It should be clear to any reasonable person that Soleimani posed a long-term threat.
Iran retaliated with missile strikes against U.S. forces in Iraq. No one was hurt. Hours after that attack, a Ukrainian jetliner crashed shortly after taking off from Tehran, killing all 176 people on board. While Iran blamed mechanical failure, U.S. officials tell NBC News evidence from an American spy satellite suggests Iranian missiles shot down that plane, which may have been mistaken for a threat.
It's an example of what can happen during the fog of war.
A tragic turn in the standoff with Iran, while lawmakers face off once again over the president's actions. The War Powers Resolution is non-binding, meaning it won't go to President Trump to be signed into law. Speaker Pelosi saying she didn't want him to diminish the statement from Congress with a veto.
Okay, so with international tension so high, updates on Iran and jokes about the draft are all over social media right now. And there is a generation of children and young people that are online all the time, and they're seeing some of these posts. So one of our 11Alive viewers commented on Facebook, my niece's 10-year-old stepson was really freaking out about World War III the other day and tried to calm him down. The news has to report on these things, but they must realize kids see it too. So how can you talk to your kids about what's happening between the U.S. and Iran? Lena Lai from our sister station out of Dallas is here with the answers.
With tensions high between Iran and the United States, fear and anxiety are perfectly normal.
We're all feeling scared today.
But clinical psychologist Dr. Marta Otero says for kids and teens, it can be a whole lot worse.
I think that can elicit some level of anxiety.
A generation ago, you had to sit in front of the TV to see images like these.
Now that's not the case.
Now kids have access to violent video, inflammatory commentary, and questionable information in the palms of their hands.
A lot of the news that they're getting isn't verified news that is adequate and correct.
Now, even if your kids have never shown an interest in news or politics, there's talk about all of this on social media. Memes about World War III and a potential military draft have become so widespread. The Selective Service and U.S. Army recruiting have also taken to social media, warning young people about misinformation.
So it's up to us to help them know what goes into something so catastrophic.
For most kids, the war in Vietnam exists only in history books. And every year that passes, there are fewer and fewer World War II veterans left to tell their stories.
The old saying is learn from your history.
Dr. Otero says while it might not be easy to talk to your kids about war, violence, and death, cell phones and social media make it almost impossible for us to shield them from it.
If they say, I heard this at school, I saw this on social media, then talk to them about it and provide them with age-appropriate answers.
A man accused of child molestation is back in jail after allegedly reaching out to a minor and convincing them to intimidate a victim in a previous case. Clayton County deputies say Paul Lyle Jr. violated a protection order filed against him. He was arrested yesterday on the corner of Creekwood and Doublegate Lane. A teenage girl from Atlanta was killed when Florida State troopers say her mother sped away from them and crashed into trees. Troopers say they clocked the car going more than 100 miles per hour Tuesday on I-75 and tried to pull over the driver, but she kept going. The 15-year-old was killed in the crash. Her mother and sister were also hurt. Well, quite the sight on I-85 today. An armored truck burning on the side of the interstate. The Brinks truck stopped at the Pleasant Hill exit near Duluth. Gwinnett County firefighters say that there was no damage to the money inside and that the fire was caused by a mechanical issue. And thankfully, the driver was not hurt.
Well, he spent years patrolling Metro Atlanta and died trying to protect a co-worker after he retired. And tonight, friends are remembering Felix Cosme. Police said that he was killed while trying to stop a robber in a robbery that was taking place at an auto parts store. The gunman has not been caught, still on the run out there. 11Alive's Joe Hinkie spoke with the deputy who worked with Cosme before he retired from the sheriff's office and took the job at O'Reilly's.
Outside a closed O'Reilly auto parts store near Beaufort in Gwinnett County today sits a bouquet of flowers and a cross, a memorial for retired Sheriff's Deputy Felix Cosme.
Everyone loves Sergeant Cosme. He always had a smile for everyone. He had a great, casual, laid-back demeanor, and he was very, very respected and very loved by everyone who knew him at the Sheriff's office.
Gwinnett County Sheriff's Deputy Shannon Volkadov worked with Cosme for several years. She says Cosme joined the Gwinnett Sheriff's Office in 2006 and worked in jail administration until his retirement in 2015. More recently, he worked at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where on Wednesday night, Volkadov says Cosme did not hesitate to serve his community once again.
When a violent criminal entered the store, he did exactly what he was trained to do, and his actions reflect well on his law enforcement career. He was attempting to preserve the lives of himself as well as the female employee who was also in the store at the time.
Investigators with the Gwinnett County Police Department say shortly before 7:45 on Wednesday night, a man followed Cosme's female co-worker into the store. The man asked the woman to open the register and demanded cash. Cosme walked out of the back of the store. Gwinnett County Police say spotted the robbery in action, and when Cosme attempted to pull out his gun, the man shot and killed him. The man then got in a car and drove off, heading towards I-85. Today, inside the sheriff's office, hearts are heavy as they wait for police to make an arrest.
He was a hero. He acted heroically. And unfortunately, he paid with his life.
So right now, Gwinnett County Police have not released any specific details yet about the suspect or the vehicle he drove away in. Police also have not said if the robbery is or is not connected to other crimes in the area. So anyone with information out there is urged to contact the Gwinnett County Police Department immediately.
The city of Dunwoody is the latest government entity to be hit by a cyber attack. City officials say they're working with the FBI to investigate the ransomware attack that hit on Christmas Eve. The city says it has a contract with a tech firm which responded to the hack immediately. Because of that quick action, the city says it was able to isolate the problem before any data was compromised or any damage was done. And they didn't have to pay a dime.
And I think the real key is responding quickly to these situations, and we're fortunate because an employee noticed something, was able to bring it to IT's attention. IT acted swiftly, even though it was a holiday, Christmas Eve. They actually came up here, and then they worked pretty much 24/7 for the next week trying to get our systems back up and running and restored.
We're told the police department also had a backup plan in place so the hack didn't affect operations over the holidays. This case ended much differently than some other recent attacks when government entities had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their systems back online. In 2018, an attack crippled the city of Atlanta and ended up costing more than $7.2 million. Then last year alone, Jackson County, Henry County, Griffin, Lawrenceville Police, the Georgia Administrative Office of the Courts, and the Department of Public Safety were all hit by cyber attacks. Cyber experts say government entities and agencies have become more popular targets because they often lack the funding for a bigger IT budget.
All right, straight ahead, the deadly flu season is here, very active. So we're looking at why so many young, healthy people are dying in Georgia.
Shout out on Instagram. You can find it tucked away in a back parking lot in Little 5 Points. An Atlanta icon, ever-changing, always interesting. The Krog Street Tunnel is full of artwork from some pretty eclectic Atlanta artists.
Yeah, all we feel is good vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate, we just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hints. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're
Convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
Your voice, it is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hate
and they
cliffhangers.
would, you know, they didn't wait the next week. You're, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his.
All right, folks, you know what? There are growing concerns tonight about the flu problem here in Georgia, with more reports of healthy people dying after getting sick. Just yesterday, a 17-year-old boy and a 29-year-old man both died in Paulding County. The coroner says that both had flu-related symptoms. 11Alive's Latasha Givens is following this story for us tonight.
We know that it kills thousands of people nationwide every year. Unfortunately, this week we've had 2 deaths at our hospital.
Lindsay Eberhardt Fuller, the coroner for Paulding County, says, like the people commenting online, she is also concerned about the seemingly high number of healthy people dying from the flu in the metro. Just yesterday, a 17-year-old boy and a 29-year-old man died at the same Paulding County hospital. In a Facebook post online, the coroner says both had flu-related symptoms, and one was confirmed to have the flu a few days before he died. State officials list him as Paul Poss, husband and father of 2. As of last week, the Georgia Department of Public Health reported 15 people have died this flu season in Georgia alone. New numbers are expected tomorrow. Eberhard Fuller requested the GBI Crime Lab to perform autopsies on the Paulding County deaths.
But if you're a 17-year-old or you're a 29-year-old in this county, unless you have cancer or you have some sort of documented, long, prolonged illness, you're going to get an autopsy because I don't guess, I want to know.
All right, folks, so we just received a statement from Wellstar Health System reading in part, Wellstar Paulding Hospital, along with most of the country, is experiencing a high volume of patients with influenza-like illnesses. So out of the respect for our patients and their families, we cannot share specific details about individual cases. However, we can share that many of the details provided by other sources on the recent flu cases are inaccurate and unfounded. According to the CDC, the most 2 common flu strains this year are B. Victoria and AH1N1. B. Victoria is hitting people under the age of 25 the hardest. The CDC says it's still too early to know the overall effectiveness of this season's vaccine, but it does not appear to be a good match for that particular strain. In 2016, there was a study by the American Academy of Pediatrics that found that children with type B flu were more likely to end up in the ICU or die compared to kids with type A. But the CDC says this year's vaccine is a good match for at least 2 of the other strains out there right now, including the type A H1N1 strain, which is hitting people older than 25 the hardest. And even though you may hear a lot of people saying that they've got the flu or they've gotten over the flu or whatever, especially if they have the vaccine, the CDC says it's still your best line of defense if you get the vaccine. So you're about as half as likely to get the flu as someone else who is not vaccinated. So if you do get the flu, your symptoms, according to the CDC, will be less severe.
All right, here's what we're watching right now. Dry weather conditions here, but the rain is out to the west, and it's building out to the west where we see the showers that are starting to get a little more intense, you know, just some more moderate rain with it. Compared to what we were showing you earlier, it was just a really light rain, but we're beginning to see some more yellows and oranges and reds in here, indicating heavy rain, but nothing severe with this in Arkansas and into Missouri. This is just the beginning of the rain that's developing. It is going to be during the day tomorrow when this ramps up and we begin to see severe weather developing, not for us here in Atlanta or in Georgia, but it'll be out to the west. And then eventually that's going to make it our way. So here we are in Atlanta. It's still going to take a while before this storminess to move in. We will have a few showers tomorrow, but no storms yet tomorrow. All right, so let's break it down. Let me show you what we're watching with that highest storm risk that is going to be tomorrow in northern Louisiana, eastern Texas, and southern Arkansas, where you see this reddish color here. That is where we have a level 4 out of 5 risk. That's called the moderate risk for severe storms. Surrounding that is level 3 risk in the tan color. The yellow is the level 2 risk, and then the dark green is the level 1 risk. So that doesn't make it into our area tomorrow. We're just going to see a few scattered showers. But once we get into Saturday, here you can see in Mississippi and Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, and parts of Louisiana, that level 3 risk, the enhanced risk. And that's where we think those chances will be higher for stronger storms. But as they move over to the east, into metro Atlanta and into parts of West Georgia, Saturday late afternoon into the evening hours, we are in that level 2 risk. And the main threats that we can see there would be damaging winds, and also tornadoes are a possibility, and also the potential for some flash flooding. The damaging wind gust, I think, is going to be our highest risk, where we're going to see some really strong winds with this line of storms as it moves through. That could bring down some trees, which could bring down some power lines as well. So prepare for some sporadic power outages for Saturday with the system moving in. 59 is our temperature right now. It's very mild. We made it up into the 60s today. And we're holding here in these 50s pretty much throughout the evening hours and overnight. We'll see some 40s here early in the morning in some spots, but really mild air in place. We have clouds building in, the moisture that's starting to build in a little bit more with those higher dew points. So we're not going to see these temperatures falling with the cloudy sky. The rain chances tomorrow will be just kind of spotty and low early on. It's going to be later on in the afternoon when we see those rain chances coming up just a little bit more. Are we going to show the QR code right now? I forgot to tell you. There we are. Yeah. I want to make sure you guys know about the QR code. We've been talking about this the past couple of days. You can get your phone out right now, your phone camera, hold that up to the QR code, and that will lead you to download our 11Alive app. And if you have that app, you can watch radar as well as these storms move in. You can set the alerts to alert you if any warnings are issued so that it'll let you know if any warnings are in your area, as well as if you have to take cover on Saturday, if we're in a tornado warning situation and you're down in your basement or in a closet or something in your safe spot and you're not near a TV, you can watch our coverage on the app as well. So on Friday, just a few scattered showers around, but here's the timing of what we're watching for Saturday. Light stuff early on, then this line of storms moves in late afternoon into the evening. This is at 8 o'clock coming through Atlanta, over to the east of us by 9, 10. By midnight, the severe weather threat's way out of here, and we'll see a break in the rain on Sunday. But then that system, as it pushes down to the south and moves away, well, it's going to come back from the south, bringing in more rain for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that could be higher rainfall amounts next week than what we're going to see with the storms on Saturday. Then we finally clear out Thursday and cool back down to the mid-50s by Thursday, too.
All right, as we get closer to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, we're learning more about what awaits the athletes in their dorms. A major component, cardboard. Today, the press was given a preview of the paper-based furniture that will be used in the Olympic and Paralympic villages. 26,000 bed frames are being constructed for the games. Organizers say they wanted to use a sustainable material that could be easily moved. After the games, the beds will be recycled into paper products. It's pretty cool. 11Alive is your Olympic station, and we have you covered before and during the summer games. Just click on the Olympic section of 11alive.com.
All right, coming up after the break on Primetime, uniting the country as Americans find themselves in a political divide. The plans leading up to MLK Day after the break.
In Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're convenient.
But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
your voice? It is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hey,
and
cliffhangers.
You know, they would wait the next week. You were, oh, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man, Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film, Hawks' Dominique Wilkins, some of
The King Center is gearing up to celebrate the life and legacy of Atlanta's own Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's right. So the King Center's leadership said that this year's theme is the beloved community, the fierce urgency of now, which they say aims to recognize the inherent worth of all people, even those we may disagree with.
Dr. King's daughter, Bernice King, said that this is a timely message during our current political state.
I have a dream. And the beloved community is very people-centered. It operates out of an unconditional love. It's not about who deserves anything. It's about, all human beings have this inherent worth and value. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Regardless of who's elected into office, we still are citizens of the United States. We're still a part of a human family. I have a dream.
And we're keeping an eye on that rain that moves in tomorrow, but not storms tomorrow. The storms will be on Saturday afternoon, late afternoon into the evening when we see those storms that could have some damaging winds, tornadoes possible with it. We're going to keep you posted and kind of break down those threats for you as we go through the day tomorrow and Saturday as well. A break Sunday, then more rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and warm next week too. Finally cooling down Thursday.
All right, a wet pattern. Hey, Primetime rolls on at 10 p.m. Ron and I will join you on 11Alive at 11 p.m. for Up Late. We'll see you there.
Hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
The 11Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alert.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, call me, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, movement ain't faded. You could assume what you're doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. It's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Jess.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning. I'm learning the taste of water, because I'm sugary. Right.
About that?
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes,
right, yeah, a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. Even more beautiful skin, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not gonna be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Block, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Block on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
They're calling it a holiday hit job.
Nearly 1,000 employees in Metro Atlanta and nationwide left high and dry. Their company suddenly shut down during the holidays after 20 years.
Employees said that customers and they were still owed money. John Chirick explains, and now workers are asking if the company did indeed break the law.
The company's promotional videos, still active on Facebook, advertising how its sparkling custom stone countertops, granite and marble can transform homes and businesses into showcases. Premier Surfaces, in business in Alpharetta for nearly 20 years. But suddenly, while employees were on their holiday break,
It's absolutely awful.
they got an email from the business's parent company. The company announcing it was shutting down, effective immediately, leaving nearly 1,000 Premier Surfaces employees across the country, 140 of them in Metro Atlanta, without back pay or severance pay or health insurance or recourse. They say company executives have vanished with their personnel files, so they're now having trouble filing unemployment claims.
Absolute disrespect.
Project manager Suzanne Wareham says countless customers are out thousands of dollars each and left with half-done jobs.
Shock. It still was shock.
Install manager Zach Goins and installer Ricky Thomas blindsided.
It hit me hard.
They are now trying to find out if the company violated U.S. labor laws, the Federal WARN Act, which requires a company to notify employees 60 days ahead of mass layoffs. We're still working to reach someone with the parent company, Clio Holdings, and its investment group owners.
I mean, it hurts. It definitely hurts.
Sadness, anger, disbelief, and determination to find some way to hold their now former employer accountable.
All right, we want to check in on the weather, and it is a change, and there's a chance for some severe weather over the
We
weekend.
are definitely having to keep a close eye on that one. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb is checking the latest models for us tonight. Hey, Chris.
Hey, yeah, we're watching that very closely as we're looking at radar, and it's not showing any rain in our area now, even though we have the clouds that are building in. Take a look at the bigger picture now, and you can see what we're watching with, no rain here, but out to the west, that's where we have those showers that are starting to build. Now, this that you see right now is not severe yet. This is just the general rain that is developing now ahead of the front that's going to be pushing in. Once it moves over a little more to the east tomorrow, we're going to see these storms intensifying during the day tomorrow, but those storms won't impact us yet on Friday. Here we are here in Atlanta. We're going to see just a few showers developing, but nothing severe. It's going to be tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow out to the west where we see these storms that'll be strongest. Look at that red area right there, northern Louisiana, eastern Texas, the southern parts of Arkansas, that Arklatex region where we have a level 4 out of 5 risk. That's the moderate risk area. And then surrounding that is the level 3 risk, then level 2 and level 1. So a big part of the Mississippi River Valley area and just to the west of that is going to see that potential for strong storms. It's going to be on Saturday. As this moves over to the east, we see a higher chance for severe storms in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle with that level 3 risk. But here in Atlanta, we're going to be in the level 2 risk, and the storms that move our way late afternoon Saturday into the evening hours are possible to produce some damaging wind gusts, maybe some trees down and power outages, also the potential for tornadoes or even some flash flooding. Stay with us. We're going to break down those threats for you coming up in just a few minutes and also walk you through the timeline of when these storms will move in and then finally get out.
The U.S. has launched a pilot program to collect DNA from migrants as young as 14 years of age. The program allows Border Patrol agents to collect DNA samples from migrants at 2 locations, the Detroit sector in Michigan and Eagle Pass in southwest Texas. That DNA will then go into the FBI's combined DNA index system, which allows DNA comparison to find criminals.
They're now dragging civil individuals who are seeking protection legally in the United States, presenting themselves legally, and yet they're being treated like the criminals that we were supposed to be finding with DNA samples.
This is not the first time that ICE has done DNA testing on migrants. Last year, ICE had DNA testing at several locations
along the U.S.-Mexico border to determine whether people saying they were coming in with family were actually related.
Happening tomorrow, Democratic presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg is set to campaign in Atlanta. The billionaire and former New York mayor will visit the Westside Cultural Arts Center to meet with voters. Bloomberg will also speak at a voting rights summit hosted by the Fair Fight PAC, which is founded by Stacey Abrams. The invite-only event that's also happening tomorrow.
A teenage girl from Atlanta was killed when Florida state troopers say her mother sped away from them, then crashed into a series of trees. Troopers say that they clocked that vehicle going more than 100 miles per hour. Tuesday on I-75, they tried to pull the driver over, but then she just kept going. The 15-year-old was killed in the crash, which was about 30 miles south of the Florida-Georgia line. The girl's mother and sister were hurt. It's not clear why the mother was speeding before that chase. Quite the sight on I-85 today. Call it money. An armored truck with money burning on the side of the interstate. The Brinks truck stopped at the Pleasant Hill exit near Duluth. Gwinnett County Fire says there was no damage to the money inside and that the fire was caused by a mechanical issue. The driver also was unhurt. Look at all that smoke. It's a lot of Benjamins going up.
Glad he is okay tonight. Well, he spent years patrolling Metro Atlanta and died trying to protect a coworker after he retired. Tonight, friends are remembering Felix Cosme. Police say he was killed while trying to stop a robbery at an auto parts store. The gunman still hasn't been caught. Joe Hankey talked to a deputy who worked with Cosme before he retired from the sheriff's office and took the job at O'Reilly's.
For retired Gwinnett County Sheriff Sergeant Felix Cosme had an extensive career in law enforcement before retiring. I'm told he worked in law enforcement dating back to 1979, and those who knew Cosme say his training kicked in Wednesday night when he tried to stop a robbery in action. Outside a closed O'Reilly auto parts store near Beaufort in Gwinnett County today sits a bouquet of flowers and a cross, a memorial for retired Sheriff's Deputy Felix Cosme.
Everyone loves Sergeant Cosme. He always had a smile for everyone. He had a great, casual, laid-back demeanor, and he was very, very respected and very loved by everyone who knew him at the Sheriff's Office.
Gwinnett County Sheriff's Deputy Shannon Volkadov worked with Cosme for several years. She says Cosme joined the Gwinnett Sheriff's Office in 2006 and worked in jail administration until his retirement in 2015. More recently, he worked at O'Reilly Auto Parts, where on Wednesday night, Volkadov says Cosme did not hesitate to serve his community once again.
When a violent criminal entered the store, he did exactly what he was trained to do, and his actions reflect well on his law enforcement career. He was attempting to preserve the lives of himself as well as the female employee who was also in the store at the time.
Investigators with the Gwinnett County Police Department say shortly before 7:45 on Wednesday night, a man followed Cosme's female co-worker into the store. The man asked the woman to open the register and demanded cash. Cosme walked out of the back of the store. Gwinnett County Police say spotted the robbery in action, and when Cosme attempted to pull out his gun, the man shot and killed him. The man then got in a car and drove off, heading towards I-85. Today, inside the sheriff's office, hearts are heavy as they wait for police to make an arrest.
He was a hero. He acted heroically, and unfortunately, he paid with his life.
And Gwinnett County Police have not released any specific details yet about the suspect or the vehicle he drove away in. Police also have not said if the robbery is or is not connected to other crimes in the area of the auto parts store near Beaufort. Anyone with information is asked to call the Gwinnett County Police Department.
Wow, what a sad story, awful story. The city of Dunwoody is the latest government entity to be hit by a cyber attack. City officials say they're working with the FBI to investigate the ransomware attack that hit on Christmas Eve. The city says it has a contract with a tech firm which responded to the hack immediately. Because of that quick action, the city says it was able to isolate the problem before any data was compromised or any damage was done, and they don't have to pay any money whatsoever.
I think the real key is responding quickly to these situations, and we're fortunate because an employee noticed something, was able to bring it to IT's attention. IT acted swiftly, even though it was a holiday, Christmas Eve. They actually came up here, and then they worked pretty much 24/7 for the next week trying to get our systems back up and running and restored.
We are told the police department also had a backup plan in place so the hack did not impact operations over the holidays. This case ended much differently than some other recent attacks when government entities had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to try and get their systems back online. In 2018, an attack crippled the city of Atlanta. It ended up costing more than $7.2 million. Then last year alone, Jackson County, Henry County, Griffin, Lawrence Police, the Georgia Administrative Office of the Courts, and the Department of Public Safety were all hit by cyber attacks. Cyber experts say government entities and agencies have become more popular targets because they oftentimes lack the funding for a bigger IT budget.
Well, he thought he was going to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Now, he not only has his freedom, but has a job waiting for him thanks to Tyler Perry. We first told you about Daryl Hall's story last night on Up Late. Tonight, we talked to him exclusively about the minute he found out the movie mogul offered him a job. Ryan Kruger has the story you'll only see here.
My excitement grew because all my prayers and stuff came true.
Daryl Hall kept praying and always kept a positive attitude. Come Monday morning, he'll wear his work boots to Tyler Perry's studios for his first job interview to let them know he's ready to work.
Yeah, I appreciate and thankful for Mr. Tyler Perry for reaching out.
Hall is the first person released from prison due to Fulton County's brand new Conviction Integrity Unit. In the 90s, he was sentenced to life in prison for possessing 2 grams of cocaine. Today, that same crime would get him less than 5 years behind bars. Hall spent 2 decades laying low, refusing to join any jail gangs, and he bettered himself by taking classes and learning trades.
Yes, it was scary, a lot of violence.
But his prayers were eventually answered, and now he has some big plans.
I only want to make the best of it, be productive in society. I want to vote.
He says he doesn't hold any grudges against anyone, and he has a message to anyone falling on hard times.
I would tell you, always keep your head up, always look forward. Everybody's not out to get you. Don't ever think that everybody out to get you. And keep a positive attitude, a positive mind frame.
And Hall says he doesn't know what his new job will be, but he did learn to cook in prison. And while he was there, he also got a certificate in horticulture.
How about all those years for 2 ounces of cocaine?
Yeah,
My goodness.
Unbelievable.
Terrible. All right, thanks, Ryan. No weights, just technology, and smart gyms are the future of fitness. We'll take you inside so you can judge for yourself. That's coming up next.
Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're convenient.
But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting.
Yeah.
We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
your voice? It is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
Hey,
and they
cliffhangers.
would, they would wait the next week. You're, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America.
Every few years, there is a new workout trend, aerobics, Taibo, all of those. You remember those? You remember when celebrities would come out? Olivia Newton-John had that song about getting physical. There were belts you could strap around your waist that were supposed to make the pounds go away. Well, now there is a new set of gyms using technology to enhance your workout, and they still claim it'll only take 20 minutes. But is that too good to be true? We sent Hope Ford out to check it out this January.
Most of us probably enjoyed watching shows about the future. In 2020, we're still waiting on flying cars, but there is an abundance of tech aimed at improving workouts. Think Peloton, Fitbit, and so on. And now smart gyms are popping up around the country in metro Atlanta.
It's pretty cool, actually, and it's sensing what your body can do.
This gym has no weights, using only computers to train. Oh, and it's only supposed to take 20 minutes 2 times a week. Think that's too good to be true? So did the owner of the Exercise Coach's Dunwoody location before his wife tried it out.
We kind of poo-pooed it a little bit up front, and you really get a workout in 20 minutes, and she tried it, and she did.
Another early naysayer, a head fitness trainer at the gym, Cameron Lowe.
Come on, you can't do that. You're cramming in being at the gym for an hour in a matter of 20 minutes.
Lowe has a degree in exercise science and changed his mind after researching the machines. See, clients enter a unique code which stores their information. The machine adjusts in real time to increase or decrease resistance. Basically, you're using your max amount of effort for the entire workout.
Maximizes what exercise is all about, which is efficiency.
New client Jill Wells worked on multiple machines.
Abs and leg press and pull down.
And says a shorter workout time is the best part.
I know that I'm doing the most for me, whereas if I were doing it on my own, I probably wouldn't work as hard.
Will it replace traditional gyms? Who knows? But many people will always crave innovation and shorter workouts.
Unlike traditional gyms, the Exercise Coach is small, utilizing trainers and appointments. At the Dunwoody location, 1 or 2 people will work out at a time, or a group of up to 4 people with a trainer. Less is more, I guess.
Less is more. Hey, the less risk we have of storms, that's going to be good for us, too. We are hoping we can get that. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb and the 11Alive Storm Tracker Center tracking that severe weather.
Chris, what are we looking at? Timeline always important as we drift toward the weekend. Friday almost upon us.
And it looks like it's going to be mainly late Saturday afternoon and into the evening hours when we see the line of heaviest storms that'll move through, and it's going to be in that squall line where we could have that damaging winds and even the potential for some tornadoes coming in. We hope that it'll weaken. We expect it to be a little weaker over us here in Georgia than what we're going to see over into Alabama and Mississippi, but still maybe strong enough for those strong winds, bands of heavy rain, and even the possibility of some tornadoes. Nothing going on here right now. We have the clouds that have been building in. That's keeping us mild tonight. The rain is over to the west. You can see that moving through parts of Arkansas, Missouri, into western Kentucky as well, southern Illinois, trying to move into the western parts of Tennessee, but a lot of that is falling apart. It's going to take this a while before it makes it into our area. So let me break down for you those risks. Tomorrow, as that system moves more over to the east, you can see that almost that bullseye right there where you see the red center. That's where there is a moderate risk or a level 4 of 5 risk in northern Louisiana, eastern Texas, and southern Arkansas. And then around that, surrounding that, is the level 3 of 5 risk. The yellow is level 2, the dark green is level 1. So you can see we're not concerned about a severe weather risk in our area for tomorrow. We're going to have some rain coming in, but it's just that rain, but nothing strong or nothing severe. It's on Saturday as the system moves on over to the east. You can see here that tan color, which is the level 3 of 5 risk. The enhanced risk is over Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and also into Florida. And then the yellow color indicates the level 2 risk that comes into our area. And it's going to be in these spots where we can see some damaging winds that could bring some trees down, power outages possible, and even tornadoes are possible as well here. So we're going to put up a QR code on your screen right now, and you can see that QR code. Put your phone up to it, and there it is right there at the bottom of your screen. Your phone camera, aim that at that QR code, and it will direct you to download our 11Alive app. And that's going to be very important into the weekend, as you can set the enable the alerts there for you so that you can get those tornado warnings or any severe thunderstorm warnings that are issued through Saturday, as well as you can see our severe weather coverage if you have to take cover away from your TV if there are any warnings, and then that way you can take that with you with our app there. So be sure and get that downloaded on your phone. A 6 on the wazometer for Friday, a low of 51 and a high of 66 degrees. It's going to be a really mild day tomorrow. Again, not concerned about a severe weather threat tomorrow. We will have a few showers moving in, but it's not going to be raining all day. Scattered showers during the day. And then once we get into the afternoon hours, a little better chance for some of those showers. But again, these are not going to be strong. Look at this southerly flow, though. It's going to be really mild with temperatures in the upper 60s during the day tomorrow, then 70s on Saturday. Here's the timeline. Late Saturday, storms coming into northwest Georgia, 8 o'clock, approaching Atlanta, moving through over to the east of us by 9, 10 o'clock, and then through Athens, we think, by midnight. And then the rain will end as it moves off to the east. And we'll have a break in the action on Sunday. Still warm, though, with 66 degrees. Then that moisture returns. It comes back up from the south, gives us even heavier rain, we think, for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Not concerned about severe weather for next week, but we could see some flooding rain in some spots on those 3 days. Still warm, finally cooling down by the end of the week on Thursday with high temperatures around 55 degrees.
I'm Francesca Emaker with the A Scene. He calls his character on television the most hated villain in all of America, but Rotimi shows there's much more to him. We're discussing his musical evolution in the A Scene. Find it tucked away in a back parking lot in Little 5 Points. An Atlanta icon, ever-changing, always interesting. The Krog Street Tunnel is full of artwork from some pretty eclectic Atlanta artists.
Yeah, all we feel is good vibes. When you vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate, we just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hence. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're convenient.
But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late.
What's the best part about
Your voice, it is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive.
Well, Georgia's film tax credit has been said to draw billions in business to the state. And even though reports are questioning the state's numbers and how the incentives are applied, Georgia's House Speaker says the credit is here to stay. The tax credit has been criticized in 2 separate state-backed reports. A state audit found filmmakers were getting tax breaks for ineligible expenses. A Kennesaw State report found the tax break doesn't generate as much as an impact as the state claims. While no one is suggesting repealing the incentives entirely, some lawmakers want them to be reviewed. House Speaker David Ralston says he's open to talks as long as everyone understands one thing.
If we need to make some changes, I'm happy to have some discussion about that, but I think it's important that we know that we come into this process being very clear that we're going to continue that.
Lawmakers in the past have strongly defended the tax credit, but some now say with the state facing a budget shortfall this year, it could be time to reevaluate it.
All right, folks, you know what time it is. You see your screen. It is time for Thursday's edition of the A Scene, and we are kicking off with a huge congratulations to the most hated villain in all of America. I am talking about Rotimi, the star in the hit show Power. He's also a musician, showing us his many layers. In fact, earlier this week, I had the opportunity to host a private listening party and interview session with the star in front of nearly 250 of his fans, thanks to Pandora and SiriusXM. Last year, we spoke with him about his EP titled Walk With Me, which bolstered his hit song called Love Rhythm. And now he's back with a new EP called The Beauty of Becoming, in which we learn about the evolution of him as an artist. He's now about to start working on his album, and he tells me the top 3 artists he wants to work with are Drake, Rich the Kid, and Georgia resident T-Pain. We'll see what happens. And let's catch a casting. Season 2 of the hit show Doom Patrol, which films right here in Atlanta, is now looking for actors to play cops. Yeah, casting directors seeking 2 Caucasian males to portray uniformed police officers in the late 1970s. Ages must be 25 to 45. There's a fitting today and tomorrow. Filming goes down on Monday, January 13th. And of course, it's paid. All details have placed them on the Facebook page for the A Scene.
All right, thanks, Fran. Well, it's time for me to head out to get ready for Up Late, coming up at 11 p.m. on 11Alive. So if you're an Up Later, join myself and Ron Jones for more news tonight.
Aisha, thank you very much. Good luck on the show tonight.
Thank you.
We'll be pulling for you. I don't know what that means.
I'll take it.
People say that sometimes.
I'll
right?
take it, Jeff.
All right, coming up, casino gambling has been a tough sell in Georgia over the years, but that doesn't mean people are stopped pitching it. It could be up to voters. We're going to have a look at what is different this time around.
Entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food, and of course you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers, I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie!
No.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm gonna be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. only on 11Alive.
The 11Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alert.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'ma do. No, moving ain't fading. You can assume what the doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
So you slept in and you missed Morning Rush, huh? Well, here's what you missed. In my experience, good guys do finish last.
I consider myself a nice guy. I've got the most beautiful woman in the world in my eyes.
You're a nice guy too,
Yeah.
Jeff.
I'm saying in my experience, when growing up, good guys didn't finish last.
Somebody broke his heart somewhere along the line.
We're here every weekday morning, so come on, hang out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning. I'm learning the taste of water, because I'm sugary.
Yeah,
right.
About that.
Well, reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. I'm not going to be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
Some mornings what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Block, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Block on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on.
The House is voting on a measure to limit President Trump's power to take military action against Iran. Both parties venting their frustrations about the administration's refusal to prove why it took out a top Iranian general. Alice Barr of NBC has the very latest from Washington.
Gentlewoman from Connecticut is
distrusting and dissatisfied with the Trump administration's strategy in Iran.
Today, America and our allies are less safe.
House Democrats pushing a resolution today to force the president to seek congressional approval before taking any further military action.
The administration conducted a provocative, disproportionate airstrike against Iran, which endangered Americans, and did so without consulting Congress.
President Trump signaling he wants to de-escalate with Iran, while at the same time insisting he doesn't need congressional approval to act militarily, despite the decades-old War Powers Act.
I don't have to, and you shouldn't have to be able, because you have to make split-second decisions sometimes.
But both Democrats and some Republicans were frustrated by a White House briefing yesterday, saying the administration didn't give a clear reason for killing Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani.
The president still has not given us a single compelling justification for why he did it.
It should be clear to any reasonable person that Soleimani posed a long-term threat.
Iran retaliated with missile strikes against U.S. forces in Iraq. No one was hurt. Hours after that attack, a Ukrainian jetliner crashed shortly after taking off from Tehran, killing all 176 people on board. While Iran blamed mechanical failure, U.S. officials tell NBC News evidence from an American spy satellite suggests Iranian missiles shot down that plane, which may have been mistaken for a threat.
It's an example of what can happen during the fog of war.
A tragic turn in the standoff with Iran, while lawmakers face off once again over the president's actions.
The War Powers resolution is non-binding. That means it won't go to President Trump to be signed into law. Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she didn't want him to diminish the statement from Congress with a veto. With international tension so high, updates on Iran and jokes about the draft, if they're funny, are all over social media. And there's a generation of children and young people that are online. They see all of this information and they try to cut through it. They try to decipher what it means and if they're safe or not. One of our 11Alive viewers commented on Facebook, my niece's 10-year-old stepson was freaking out about World War III the other day. I tried to calm him down. The news has to report on these things, but they must realize that children, kids, see it too. So how do you talk to your children about what's happening between the United States and Iran? There are so many ways, so many approaches you can have to this. Lynn Lai with our sister station in Dallas set out to give you a few answers to these questions.
With tensions high between Iran and the United States, fear and anxiety are perfectly normal.
We're all feeling scared today.
But clinical psychologist Dr. Marta Otero says for kids and teens, it can be a whole lot worse.
I think that can elicit some level of anxiety.
A generation ago, you had to sit in front of the TV to see images like these.
Now that's not the case.
Now kids have access to violent video, inflammatory commentary, and questionable information in the palms of their hands.
A lot of the news that they're getting isn't verified news that is adequate and correct.
Now, even if your kids have never shown an interest in news or politics, there's talk about all of this on social media. Memes about World War III and a potential military draft have become so widespread. The Selective Service and U.S. Army recruiting have also taken to social media, warning young people about misinformation.
So it's up to us to help them know what goes into something so catastrophic.
For most kids, the war in Vietnam exists only in history books. And every year that passes, there are fewer and fewer World War II veterans left to tell their stories.
The old saying is learn from your history.
Dr. Otero says while it might not be easy to talk to your kids about war, violence, and death, cell phones and social media make it almost impossible for us to shield them from it.
If they say, I heard this at school, I saw this on social media, then talk to them about it and provide them with age-appropriate answers.
The idea of legalizing gambling in Georgia is something people can't stop talking about on the 11Alive Facebook page, on my Facebook page as well, Jeff Hullinger, 11Alive. Every time we post about it, there is a decidedly mixed reaction. The issue seemed to get a boost today in a big public hearing at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but it is a hard sell at the Capitol over the last 3 years. But the question is, as we get ready for a new General Assembly, is that going to change? Maybe. We'll see. Doug Richards digs into whether that trend continues, which begins on Monday.
When Georgia lawmakers adjourned in a paper-tossing celebration last April, the state still seemed to have plenty of money. Since then, the state treasury has started running short, possibly giving new life to the promised riches of state-sanctioned gambling.
And hopefully we'll see some movement this year. I think there's more talk about it this year with this session coming up than any time in our history.
Ed Clark runs the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This year, the racetrack has floated a casino resort on its site in Hampton, plus an amusement park and a water park.
Well, Atlanta Motor Speedway is already successful. This would open up a whole new avenue for us and really make us relevant 52 weeks a year.
So this will be going on in our backyard, and we are excited about it. We are wanting this to come.
There were more than 200 people in a room at the Speedway when a legislative committee asked for opinions about gambling. None rose to speak seriously against it.
I understand the bad things that come with addiction. My wife wants to move to Biloxi, and if we did, we'd be broke.
We're going to vote for this. You put it on the ballot, we're going to be gambling next year.
But it's not that easy. Gambling bills require an amendment to the state constitution. With 2/3 vote of approval in the House, another 2/3 vote in the Senate. Then voters statewide would have to decide. And then approval by voters in whatever communities would host a casino.
I also go to the casinos, and I would rather have my money sitting here in Henry County.
And backers say keeping gambling money in state is the best reason to support it.
There's no taxes collected in the state of Georgia off of these app-based sports betting, where there's nothing collected where the money is going to other states. That's tax revenue could be spent in this state.
Georgia lawmakers may be getting a bit weary from the gambling issue coming up and staying unresolved. Today, House Speaker David Ralston said he would like to see lawmakers pass it, which would let voters make the final decision one way or the other. Here's what people on our Facebook page have to say. Marilyn says she believes gambling in the state will just bring more crime. Chris says he votes yes. He wants the tax money to go to education. And many, like David, said they want gambling revenue to stay in the state rather than people from Georgia traveling to other states. Growing concerns tonight about the flu in Georgia, with reports of seemingly healthy people dying after getting sick. Yesterday, a 17-year-old and a 29-year-old both died in Paulding County. The coroner says both had flu-related symptoms.
The Paulding County coroner says she has been bombarded with calls, emails, text messages from people concerned about the two men who died yesterday, both under 30 years old. Now her office is working with the state to learn more about why.
We know that it kills thousands of people nationwide every year. Unfortunately, this week we've had 2 deaths at our hospital.
Lindsay Eberhardt Fuller, the coroner for Paulding County, says, like the people commenting online, she is also concerned about the seemingly high number of healthy people dying from the flu in the metro. Just yesterday, a 17-year-old boy and a 29-year-old man died at the same Paulding County hospital. In a Facebook post online, the coroner says both had flu-related symptoms, and one was confirmed to have the flu a few days before he died. State officials list him as Paul Poss, husband and father of 2. As of last week, the Georgia Department of Public Health reported 15 people have died this flu season in Georgia alone. New numbers are expected tomorrow. Eberhardt Fuller requested the GBI Crime Lab to perform autopsies on the Paulding County deaths.
But if you're a 17-year-old or you're a 29-year-old in this county, unless you have cancer or you have some sort of documented, long, prolonged illness, you're going to get an autopsy, because I don't guess, I want to know.
And we've previously reported how the flu is hitting Georgia harder and earlier than it has in recent years, with widespread cases over the last several weeks. And as of today, more than 500 people across the state have been hospitalized, and the flu season is not over yet.
According to CDC data, the 2 most common flu strains this year are B. Victoria and AH1N1. B Victoria is hitting people under the age of 25 the hardest. The CDC says it's still too early to know the overall effectiveness of this season's vaccine, but it does not appear to be a good match for that particular strain. A 2016 study by the American Academy of Pediatrics found children with type B flu were more likely to end up in the ICU or die compared to kids with type A. But the CDC says this year's vaccine is a good match for at least two of the other strains out there, including the type A H1N1 strain, which is hitting people older than 25 the hardest. Today, officials broke ground on the latest phase of the project that's bringing and keeping more police officers in the city of Atlanta. The new apartment complex on Old English Avenue will eventually house more than 30 APD recruits. It joins almost 24 other homes in the area built specifically for officers to help them become a bigger part of the community they protect. According to the Atlanta Police Foundation, the lack of affordable housing is one of the biggest obstacles to hiring new officers. The group says 40% of recruits come from outside the metro area. So in 2017, the city launched an incentive program to attract more candidates. That included raising salaries, relocation funds, and other financial incentives. Officials say those measures helped them hire more than 200 officers in 2019, 70 more than the previous year.
They're going to be a part of the community, and that is huge. The officers, after their 8 hours on the street, they're not going to go to other counties. They're going to stay right here.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. We are watching that system out to the west that has showers with it that will eventually become strong thunderstorms. And yeah, it's moving our way. I'm going to have an update on the timing.
All right, coming up, Georgia State basketball. How are these guys doing? Panthers pouncing on their opponent, bouncing back. The highlights straight ahead.
You'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been?
It looks like fun.
They are fun.
And they're
convenient. But they're being dumped everywhere.
5,000 scooters at one time active throughout the city. I enjoy them myself. They're fun. Yeah. There's got to be some regulations.
I just feel like we have to evolve with the times, though. They're not going anywhere. They shouldn't go anywhere. It's a new way of transporting. Yeah. We have to evolve.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m.
You see them all day, every day. Headlines, stats, and numbers, but without context, they're just clickbait. So let's add some perspective. The 3 most interesting numbers of the day, what they mean, and why they're important. News and numbers on Up Late. What's the best part about your voice? It is never too loud or too much. Your voice has the power to tell it like it is.
Bringing us together to act.
Together, our voices grow. Together, we come alive, amplifying voices and breaking down barriers to change the story and shape the future. Together, we are unstoppable. Together, we are where Atlanta speaks.
Remember the old days, the old cliffhangers when we used to watch shows?
And cliffhangers.
They would wait the next week. You're, what's going to happen to the $6 million man? He was hanging with his one bionic arm.
Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Atlanta. Almost 6 million people call the Metro home. But what makes this place so great? I'm 11Alive's Chesley McNeil. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why Atlanta is the best city in America. Come on, man. It's the heart of the South. And it's one of the most diverse cities around. People from all walks of life have come here and made it home. From different backgrounds, languages, and religions. And who can forget about the food? They all make this a cultural melting pot, full of great people and Southern hospitality. Atlanta's rich history is unmatched, known as the cradle of the civil rights movement for good reason. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Andrew Young, John Lewis, they all fought in the struggle for equal rights right here. Businesses on Sweet Auburn Avenue, local black churches, and college students from Atlanta all helped shape the future of America. Once an Olympic city, Atlanta's home to the best sports scene across the nation. Hey look, the South has something to say. You won't find more passionate fans anywhere. From the Atlanta Braves home run king, my man Hank Aaron, to the human highlight film Hawks' Dominique Wilkins, some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sports fan. So what do you think? Is Atlanta the best city in America? Connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram and tell us why this city's got it going on. And then watch us every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on the Morning Rush on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
We continue to follow the devastation in Australia. It is horrific. Ecologists now believe 1 billion animals may have perished, moving some species even closer to extinction. They may not come back. Wildlife rescue agencies desperately trying to save the animals that they have found. Rescuers say they hope this prompts Australian lawmakers to come up with a climate change action plan. When one boy in North Texas heard about what was happening in Australia, he took action to help. Sean Giggy, with our sister station in Dallas, discovered the boy far surpassed his goal.
Whenever 9-year-old Aiden Klein plays dinosaurs, his mind is on one thing and one thing only.
Half of my brain is filled with animals.
The kid truly loves animals.
Man's best friend.
But no one knew how much he cared until last weekend. Aiden's parents, Emmy and Brock, say they were having a conversation, just the two of them, about the wildfires in Australia. They thought they were being quiet, but Aiden heard every word.
And she said koalas may be extinct after this fire in Australia. And I started to cry and I ran to my room and I just wanted to help all of Australia.
Let's go there. Can we go there and help? And, you know, it's just not feasible.
So she suggested a different approach.
It was right at his bedtime.
Together, they partnered with a wildlife foundation in Australia to start a fundraiser. For every person who donated, Aiden would send them a hand-drawn picture of an animal from Australia.
Koalas, kangaroos, dingoes.
The goal was to raise $100.
I would also talk to him to prepare him in case we didn't hit it. Be thankful for whatever you get. It's great.
I may not, but if I do, at least I got a little money to help a few animals.
But a day later, he wasn't even close to that goal.
Is that it?
Not even close.
Yes.
In just 15 hours, Aiden raised more than $1,000 for Australia, and it is still growing. Why's that worth it?
Because I would save at least 100 animals.
I think it's just it's a testament to the power of the human spirit. Even though we're separated by oceans, everybody still, we're all human, and there is good in all of us.
And for me, it just reaffirmed his heart and his desire to help other people.
Because if he has this much compassion for animals, imagine what one day he will do for his fellow man.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. Dry weather out there now, even though we have clouds that are building in. The rain is out to our west, and this is the system that is going to turn severe as it moves on over to the east tomorrow, but the severe weather threat is going to stay to the west of us in this area right over here. We have very mild air in place right now. Take a look at what we're watching out there. Through the day today, you know, we started off with temperatures that were pretty chilly. We started off with lows this morning that were down into the 30s. That was a cool start. We watched those temperatures rising during the day, eventually making it up. I know the highest that you see here is 63, but it actually got up to 64 in between these hourlies here. So our high today was 64. And then what didn't happen tonight is cooler air. You know, the past few nights has been moving in, but that didn't happen tonight because of the cloud cover. The moisture content in the air is increasing a little bit. So we're not seeing these temperatures falling tonight. So that's why it's a very mild evening out there, and it's going to remain mild into tomorrow morning as well. Right now we're 59. We have a lot of 50s all around. coolest spot is up in Clayton, and that's just 46, not really frigid or anything up there. So look at these temperatures as we're holding here around 57 at midnight, then 55 through 2 and 4 in the morning, mid-40s there in the early morning hours with that cloud cover that is going to be with us. So it's not going to be a frigid night. Now, we do have rain on the way. That's first going to be during the day tomorrow, just some off and on showers, but not severe weather tomorrow. The severe weather threat is going to be mainly on Saturday when we see some storms that'll be moving our way. We're going to have a break Sunday, and then the system that brings us the storms on Saturday moves to the south, and then it decides to come back toward us. We're not worried about severe weather into next week, but we'll have more rain coming in for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and that rain can be more than what we're going to be get with the storms on Saturday. So here's what we're watching on the wasometer. We're going to go with the 6. We're going to see a good coverage of clouds around during the day with those showers that'll be with us. Highs near 66. It's going to be very mild. All right, so I want to break down the timeline of what we have going on here. You see this QR code? What you can do with this is get your phone camera and hold it up to the QR code or point it at it, and it will lead you to download our 11Alive app, and that will help you watch the radar on that app. It also will give you the updates that we are going to be posting on the app, as well as severe weather coverage if you have to go down into your safe place or closet where there's no TV. Also, you can set the alerts on that as well to alert you if any severe weather is moving in. Saturday, we've got just a few scattered showers. That main storm line comes in late afternoon to West Georgia, evening here in Metro Atlanta. Then it exits the area, moving out to the east of us later on Saturday night. And then we dry out on Sunday briefly before that moisture moves back in the form of rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that could be a lot of rain, maybe 2 to 4 inches in that time frame. Staying warm for much of the week. We finally cool down Thursday with a high of 55.
Like a conquering Roman centurion clutching a cowbell, Mike Leach, the attorney, the eccentric, the intellectual, has left Washington State, now the head coach at Mississippi State. How about Mississippi? You got Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and now you got Leach at Mississippi State. I'm interested in the Egg Bowl all of a sudden. What a great hire. I love that hire. He's a really interesting, creative guy. That's a cool hire. Can I say that again? Today, Tennessee made it official. Georgia transfer Kate Mays has joined the Vols. Mays started 11 games for UGA last season. That Georgia offense is going to look very different come fall. UGA is going to have to replace Jake Fromm and a running back, almost the entire offensive line. So a lot of work for Kirby Smart and company. College basketball, Georgia State looking to bounce back after suffering back-to-back losses. Panthers hosted Louisiana Lafayette tonight. Corey Allen led all scorers. He had 24. Georgia State hit 52% of its three-point attempts tonight. Good win for the Panthers, 90-52 the final. They made it look so easy. Last night, Georgia Tech lost to number 2 Duke. Jackets kept it close most of the game, and many of them may be trying to give Georgia Tech credit for, sticking with the number 2 team in the country. But Josh Pastner and his players made it very clear after the game there is no moral victories. They wanted to win. On the Duke side, Coach K had some very nice words to say about Tech's team that should have many alums around here excited.
Yeah, they're a very good basketball team. And now that they got their whole team together, that's their 6th game. I mean, I think they can, play with anybody.
Mike Krzyzewski, Hawks are off, and they are in action tomorrow night against the Wizards. The second fan vote was released today by the NBA, and Trae Young still leads the Eastern Conference guards in voting. It looks like he certainly will be on his first All-Star team. Finally, we are days away from the national championship game. Clemson is taking on LSU, that you know. One Clemson fan clearly ready to go. Clemson, a 6-point underdog. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a tattoo for the new year and for all years. Very, very nice. Look for that tattoo at Lake Hartwell, if you will, when you're up there boating this summer. Maybe you won't be. All right, we'll take a break, and we are back right after this.
Human highlight film, Hawks Dominique Wilkins. Some of the greatest athletes have come through Atlanta. We're talking the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, the MLS champs, Atlanta United. This city has something for every kind of sports fan. So what do you think? Is Atlanta the best city in America? Connect with us. Use Facebook or Instagram and tell us why this city's got it going on. And then watch us every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on the Morning Rush on 11Alive.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Babe, where are my keys?
Where's my lunch?
Where's my phone? Hey, where's my blue shirt?
Where's my pen? Have you seen it?
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
I woke up at 2 in the morning to be here. Where were you?
Once you allow it, right, then it sets you up for the entire week where you just have lost it.
Like on a Sunday, it's like, oh, let's just order some Chinese food. And of course, you wind up eating tons of that. And then on Monday, you're like, well, I got leftovers. I can't let it go to waste.
Auntie wants to give you a plate to take home from the barbecue.
Auntie.
No.
Auntie, don't invite me to the barbecue.
I'm going to be looking for you next time, so use the hashtag and let us know you're hanging out with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m., only on 11Alive.
The 11Alive app is your go-to source for all things Atlanta.
You hear what happened today? I'll tell you all about it.
Breaking news the moment it happens.
The boil water advisory.
Hyper-local, accurate weather alerts.
You may want to grab that sweater, maybe even a coat.
More stories to uncover. More videos to discover.
He did it his way.
Personalized for you.
And that's what makes it so special.
The 11Alive app. Available now in the App Store.
Hey, I got the ways to go. I got moves to make, homie, but I stay in the flow. See, I just do what I say I'm gonna do. No, my movement ain't faded. You could assume what you're doing was great.
Oh, and so I was saying, there is always something filming here in Atlanta. From movies to TV shows, you name it. And so the A Scene keeps up with all of it for you. Casting calls, which big celebrities are in town, what's filming, and if it's in your neighborhood. It's like an inside scoop.
Oh, nice. But you know, I really wish you would have told us we were filming this today.
Ooh, did I not text you? All right. Ah, it's in my drafts. That's my bad.
Well, we have more clouds out there. We're going to see just a few showers developing on Friday. It's not going to be a total washout, just scattered showers here and there. No storms on Friday. The storms move in on Saturday. It's going to be late afternoon into evening when that line of strong storms moves in. Damaging winds possible. Tornadoes are possible with this as well. We're going to see a break in the action Sunday, and then more rain moves in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That can be some heavy rain with temperatures still warm. We finally cool off by Thursday as we dry out.
Rule of thumb, 70 degrees in early January means bad weather.
Yeah, we're going to see it.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
You didn't get my text? The whole crew got together for coffee this morning.
I'm learning the taste of water because I'm sugary.
Yeah.
Right.
About that.
Reward would be
Slimming down. Okay.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, a little water in my cup.
And beautiful skin. You know, even more beautiful skin, you know, when it's all hydrated and everything else. It's not going to be able to sit next to you in a few months.
Don't drink your morning coffee alone. Have it with us. Morning Rush, weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. Only on 11Alive.
Some mornings, what you want isn't what you have time for. And that's why there's the Rush Blog, the biggest news of the day in 5 minutes or less. Quick and convenient for all those hectic mornings. Catch the Rush Blog on the Morning Rush.
Everybody has learned how to drive, so I'm going to go ahead and retire.
It didn't last long. Crank up your morning rush with Crash Clark. Weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive. Traffic brought to you by John Foy & Associates.
Atlanta is filled with great photo spots. And of course, I would know because this is my hometown. I'm 11Alive's Francesca Amaker, and I'm about to show you my picks for the 3 best Instagram spots in Atlanta. The OUTKAST mural is one of Atlanta's newest hotspots. Created by the artist Jex, people flock from all over the world just to get a shot of these two hip-hop legends. News of the mural went viral when Big Boy himself gave a shout out on Instagram. You can find it tucked away in a back parking lot in Little 5 Points. An Atlanta icon, ever-changing, always interesting. The Krog Street Tunnel is full of artwork from some pretty eclectic Atlanta artists.
Yeah, all we feel is good vibe with it, it's a good time. We don't worry about the hate, we just pass it to the side.
There's graffiti, community messages, concert announcements. You really never know what you're gonna get here, and that's what makes it so special. You can find it between Cabbagetown and Inman Park. If you've never checked it out, it's a must-see. There are hundreds of works of art along the Beltline. I'm talking murals, sculptures, photography. This beautiful mural was created by the artist Hints. It's 100 feet long, and even though it was created in 2014, it still remains very popular to musicians and photographers alike. You can find it on the East Side Trail under Virginia Avenue. So let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be street art. Maybe your favorite spot is down the street from your home or a great view. Connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and share your favorite Instagram spots in Atlanta. And come hang out with me on Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. on 11Alive.